What's up, guys? It's your boy, Luke Soin. Thanks for listening and watching to the Epic Tiki podcast. My guest today is Carlos Rodriguez. He's a very hilarious and amazing comedian, huge movie guy just like me. So we had a lot of fun talking about movies, comedy, and like everything else probably in the world. This is the first 3-hour episode. It's very exciting. It sucks though because I recorded a video version of this and my video recorder decided to drop frames and corrupt the file or something, so I had to delete it. So there's just audio on this one if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening, this is whatever. If you're watching though, I'm sorry. There's headshots of us that just show during the whole thing, so you can see our faces if you want to see that, and follow us on Twitter and Instagram, which I included on that picture. Thanks, guys. I love you. Please subscribe and watch, and thank you. Enjoy the episode. Hey, guys. Welcome to the Epic Tiki podcast. I'm Luke Soin, and my guest today is Carlos Rodriguez.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah. You don't have to look at the camera.
Oh, great.
Just do that at the begining. I mean, you can look at it whenever you want, but, you know.
Okay.
It's whatever. My podcast philosophy is just Joe Rogan's, where it's like, we'll just hang out and talk, and then whatever happens.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
sweet.
There's no like, you should have watched this movie so that we could talk about it, or, I don't know. There's so many podcasts are like, they have a gimmick to do something.
We should have watched the movie, though. That'd have been dope.
Have you seen Tenet?
Yes.
Oh, we could talk about that.
Yeah, what do you think?
I'm starting to get,
I'm still thinking about it. Like, that's how.
I'm kind of, it's weird. This year I'm like over Christopher Nolan a little bit. I like him, but I think there's a lot of things about his style that I remember, like, even when I first saw like The Dark Knight or Batman Begins or Inception, that there's like things that he does that annoy the shit out of me. And I mean, I can go over them. I don't know.
Yeah, I want to know.
Oh, okay.
I'm a fan.
Yeah,
But
I mean, I'm a fan
this
too.
This one was definitely. I kind of was like. I read something after I'd seen it, what he was trying to do, and I was like, oh, I can, yeah, you accomplished that.
Yeah, I mean, the cool thing is he is always trying to do something new, and he's trying to, like, I mean, if this movie feels like he's trying to out Nolan himself, like he's just like, how crazy can my plot get?
Yeah.
And then have it be backwards and meet itself and stuff like that. We're going to spoil Tenet, I guess. So I just like to warn
not
people.
Too
I don't
much,
really care.
but it's like, he said he wanted something to make something so confusing that that it didn't matter because it was so stylistic and so eye pleasing. And I was like, yeah, well, you accomplished that because I'm still trying to figure it out and think about it. And then, but no, I'm like, and you said like the things that kind of annoy you though that he does in his films. What's
so one thing is I feel like there's like lots of emotion in his movies, or he tries to, but I always feel like these people aren't real. Like they exist in this weird dream version of people. Like, because there's like stylistic things he does that are annoying to me. Like he'll do this thing where a character starts explaining what they're going to be doing, and then they cut to them doing it. But then it'll cut back to them walking and talking about the thing that they're also doing at the same time.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's like a time saver thing or if it's just like but it just creates this sort of like free flow, confusing, like meandering thing for me where I'm like, I would rather you just show things happening and not tell and show.
Yeah.
And then like the characters, like a lot of his movies are just, it really feels like there's like a person, there's like a man, and he has a thing he's trying to do, but I don't know anything else about him. Like I don't know if he likes baseball or if he's like they exist in this like sterile environment where like there's
relatability and you don't have any kind of like things that you're like, oh, I like this person because he is empathetic to animals and it's
like Guardians of the Galaxy. You're like, oh, I know who these people are. In the first 5 minutes of meeting them, like this person's that way. This person is hilarious. This person has this damage.
Quill loves music. Oh,
that's
and
then
awesome.
You can like see yourself in that person. But like, Leonardo DiCaprio in Inception is like, he's like an inaccessible random white guy who, and it's like he invades dreams. But like, who does he do it for? It doesn't matter. Like he's not, and Christopher Nolan's not concerned with that stuff.
Backstory.
He just wants to get into the thing, which is fine. But I just feel like it kind of makes it not real. I don't know, like, if you're in the mood for it, it's cool. Like, I don't hate it. I'm starting to be like, I like other directors more. Because the other thing he does is he creates these worlds that are really sterile, like I said, and there's no, like, I don't like product placement, but I think you need some to feel like, oh, this is like New York, or this is, but he always films it in a way. It's like, I don't know what city this is taking place in, you know, like he uses Chicago and it's Gotham City, you know, but like, or in Inception, it's like, I guess they're in China for a minute. I don't even know where they went. Then they're in like Marrakesh getting Tom Hardy's character.
All over the place. Yeah, but that Tenet, as I was watching it, I go, there's a lot of walk and talks in this, man. There was like 3, and I was like, what the fuck? And
it's like if Aaron Sorkin created puzzles.
Yeah, and it's so funny because like I didn't mind it in Interstellar because I thought Interstellar was great. Not a lot of people like it, but I like it a lot. Here's an interesting story. So I went to go see Interstellar. After I get done watching
it, in IMAX.
I seen it in IMAX.
Yeah, that was the way to do it.
Yeah, and it was like one of the first movies where it's like 3 days later I'm thinking about it still, and because I seen it and I didn't care. I was like, oh, it was interesting. It was really eye pleasing and
Yeah.
But then I started digesting it, and I was like, oh, I liked how they manipulated time, and I was like, and then and then what's her name she's from Sacramento, Jessica Chastain. Yeah, and I was like,
I love her. She's so good.
Yeah, and I was like, that's his daughter, and I was like, and then it just kept like a lot of stuff resonated, and I started getting talking about it, and so I'm in San Francisco, and another comedian I hang out with a lot. Her name's Emily Van Dyke. And we went to, I go and visit and hang out, and we went to go, she took me to go eat at a place called Foreign Cinema, and it's like this cafe, it's like this brunch spot during the day, and at night it turns into a foreign cinema theater, whatever, whatnot.
That's cool.
And it's like, it's like super duper fucking fancy smancy.
Where is it?
It's in the Mission District.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's on, I want to say it's on Van Ness, like way down, like, or Van Ness, like I want to say 20, or maybe 17th or something. It's in between there. It's like, or is it on Valencia? It's on Valencia, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I still don't know San Francisco enough to be like, oh, okay. Like I sort of vaguely know, like where things are, but I'm not. Yeah.
Yeah, and
but
then
someone knows, like someone watching or listening, hopefully.
And
3 people.
And I know, well, I mean, probably someone's gonna be like, it's not Valencia, you asshole. It's on, you know, Zeta. And I was like, oh my bad,
but it's Sacramento Street.
It's in that area. It's in that vicinity. It's in the Mission District, and and so we go eat, and it's all fancy smancy kind of like too. So it's all, you know, because Emily knows like the places and whatnot. So we get in, and it's all reservation and shit like that. And so her friend's a chef as well, and they're eating with us, and we're all talking and hanging out. And I just talk about Interstellar because I was like, they're like, oh, you go to the movies? I go, I go to movies all the time, and I like this Alamo Draft House that's like 2 blocks over. When I come hang out,
I've still never been to one of those.
Oh, it's cool. It's a way better movie studio grill, you know. And you'd love it. I mean, because I liked it because I just like the whole. You know, they got arcades, and you can get like this, you know, movie memorabilia, and it's just like
they always have like cool promotions and like posters that they give out. Like, don't they always have cool stuff like that? And,
and it's like. It's like if a Funko Pop was a movie theater, you know, like it's got like all kind of like, you know, deep cuts and deep characters and stuff like, you know.
Not in terms of the weird style.
Yeah.
I hate the way they look. I hate Funko Pops. Like
I remember they were called bobbleheads, but I don't know why they call them Funko Pops. But I got used to saying that.
Oh yeah. Do Funko Pops heads move?
Yeah.
Oh okay.
Mm-hmm. And then, because they're not just like stable figurines, like how.
I thought they were. I thought they were just like little bulbous, like looking goofy toys.
Oh yeah, no, their heads.
No one takes out of the box.
No, their heads move, and then
okay.
I remember what were the figurines too? Were like baseball players and football players. I can't remember what those are called now.
Big heads? Oh, no. Those are like the wall things.
No, they were just like little figurines, and they would be in like positions.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
They were like I can't remember what they were called, but back in the day, they would give out bobbleheads at baseball games and stuff like that.
They still do that.
They do?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
The Giants do it all the time. I'm a Giants fan. I know you're an A's fan.
Yeah,
I have no hate for the A's. I know a lot of people are like, we can't be friends because the Bay separates us and therefore enemies.
Yeah. And that's still gang mentality.
Yeah.
But no, so I'm sitting there, we're eating, and I'm talking about Interstellar. And I was like, and I'm just. After a while, I start realizing I'm like gushing about it, you know. Like I was talking about it, and then I was like, you know what?
Somewhere Christopher Nolan is like, ugh.
Yeah, and then so the dude looks at me and he goes, you're just saying that because he's right there, and I go, what? And he goes, you're just saying this really loud because he's right there, and I go,
wait,
who?
What?
And I look over. and it's Christopher Nolan, and he's sitting in the table next to us
in San Francisco.
In San Francisco, and he has a full beard, so I don't recognize him. And I'm like, what? And I go, that's not him. And he goes, it is him. And I go, shut up. And I look over, and I go, but because usually he's bald, like not bald, but he's got a clean face.
Yeah. He's in a suit. He looks like he's very proper and put together. Yeah, very professional.
Oh, Guy Ritchie type of shit. Like wearing a suit all the time. Yeah,
but minus the London streets.
So he pulls out the phone and he looks at the picture and then he shows me and then it's just him again and then I look over and I go, oh shit, it is him with a beard. And he was like, yeah, and he looks at me and he just nods his head and I was just like, oh, and then
don't talk to me. But it's me.
Yeah. I still didn't believe it though. So we went up to the I don't know what you call them, not the concierge. That's fucking
the box office.
No, the where they reservations for the eatery for the
cashier.
I guess a host, right? Would that be the host?
Oh, you mean where they sit you down?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, the host.
And I walk up and I was like, hey, I wanted to know, is Christopher Nolan here? And then she goes, we can't give out information about our guests, but we do have an executive producer here today. And I was like, oh, really? I was like, okay. Well,
is it Emma Thompson, his wife?
Yeah. Is it his wife? That's his wife?
I think so, yeah. I'm pretty sure.
And then I go, I look at the dude and I go, but he's a director. And he goes, he's got to executive produce other things. I was like, Superman. He executive produced Superman, Man of Steel. And I go, okay, yeah. And I was like, so it was him. But that was interesting. But I do
that's funny. I can't. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's crazy.
That was just a random happening, but like I'm a fan of Nolan.
He's just like, this asshole's saying how good my movie is. Like he knows I'm sitting here, but you didn't know.
No, I didn't know.
Doing it.
And the way I was talking about it was just very like, cause I like the cinematography. I like Anne Hathaway for some reason.
She's really good. My girlfriend made me watch The Princess Diaries the other day, and that movie's really good.
Is it?
Like that was like her first big movie, I think. Mm-hmm. And when you watch it, you go like, oh yeah, she's a fucking star. Like the mannerisms she has, like the way she created this whole character to be you could tell that there's more work in it than just like, oh, Selena Gomez is acting. Like it's like this. She's like, she was funny and like endearing.
Yeah.
And it was crazy because you're like, oh, she's like literally 17 in this movie.
That's funny when we have girlfriends, we're like watching stuff we'd never watch.
Yeah. Well, because there's like some rom-coms that are really good, but you just don't watch them because you're like, I'd rather just watch John Wick again, or whatever.
I'm seeing this girl. I don't know if I'm still seeing her or not. What you got?
Shout out to whoever.
Shout out to maybe.
Megan Maybe. That's her full name.
That's how we were thinking about. That's what we were talking about, like chick flicks. Because she was like, she goes, do you? Because it was like, do you like chick flicks? And I was like, I go, it's interesting that I'm into romantic movies, but I go, I don't know if I'm into chick flicks. I was like, because I feel chick flicks are funny, as opposed to like,
some of them
love
are
stories.
Like
movies.
they're not always. It's just like there's some that are really cheesy, and then there's some that are actually like written well.
Yeah, I like the written well. I like I'll rock with that. Like I like the whackness.
The Whackness?
The Whackness was great. It's a love story. I don't know. It's about and it's set in the 90s and it's about this kid who sells the dude from what's his name, man? He used to be on not on this like Nickelodeon show and he used to be chubby and he got really skinny. Josh Peck, I want to say his name is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about.
I can't remember the
Josh and Drake.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah.
And it's and it's that movie and I think Olivia something's in it too. She was in that.
Wilde?
No, she was in the Judge Dredd, the better Dredd.
Thurlby.
Yeah.
I
like her, man.
She's great. She
She's
needs
good.
to be in more stuff.
She definitely needs to be in more stuff. She's really good.
Why is there no Judge Dredd sequel?
Dude,
that movie's so fucking good.
I belong to a group that's trying to get it. Like
oh, you signed the petition online?
Yeah.
I did that like 5 years ago. I don't know I don't think I put money into it, but is it a go-go or is it just?
No, it's just like a petition, and then you keep getting newsletters and keep doing something. I'm like, yeah, man, I want to see. I liked Carl Urban in it. It was great.
Well, he's been vocal about that before, like that group, right? Like he's posted in it or something, or he tweets about. I don't know. Yeah, because I think the problem is Alex Garland is like the good director, right? The writer.
Yeah.
He's like very into like just making really depressing TV shows now and movies. Like because he went from like Dredd to Ex Machina, which is an amazing movie, but kind of dark, and then he made Annihilation, which is also dark and then depressing. And then I don't know if you saw
Annihilation, that's right.
Yeah, and then his last thing is Devs on FX. Did you watch that?
No, I haven't. Did you check it out?
It's really good, yeah.
Okay.
It's really good, but it leaves you just kind of feeling like there's a hole, like you're just like, oh, is that what this is?
I need to see.
Okay.
I need a new show because I watched Utopia recently and I liked that a lot.
Oh, that just came out, right? I haven't seen it yet, but
and I didn't know it was a British TV show prior to, and then
it's like The Office where they took an idea and remade it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's like it's interesting because like I like John Cusack and John Cusack and Michael J. Fox will ever be cool as fuck in my mind. Whatever they do, I'll watch. I'll buy a ticket for it. And I don't even care if it's like those B movies that John Cusack ends up doing, here and there.
Yeah.
But because he's almost on the verge of Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
Like he always teeters on, but he comes back with something good. And I'm like, oh, okay, you made better choices. I see.
I feel like, do you think he's just kind of like, oh, I've made it, I'm just doing stuff for fun now because I don't need to do, or do you think he just isn't getting work?
No, yeah, I don't. I think the first thing you said. I think that it's not that he's not broke, and he's not.
If you're smart with your money, like you do a couple movies and you get a payday and you just invest it or whatever, I
think it's like a Robert De Niro thing. It's because Robert De Niro is one of the greatest actors of all time, and then all of a sudden he just started doing comedies, and then he just started doing anything and everything.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, but we know you're not broke. We know you're not,
Yeah.
So what are you doing? Why are you doing this? It's like, oh, because I'm bored, and
I just I like it.
It's almost like when you're a comic and you're like, I'm done with. You make people. You have a joke that works so well constantly over and over again, and you're like.
Like crystal jail for your nail.
Yeah. And you just don't want to do that joke no more. It's like, but you have to, it hits. And it's like, but I've said it so many times. Or it's like,
Bert Kreischer with the machine.
Yeah.
And he has to do that joke every show to close it or people get mad at him.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's a hell. It's almost like a hell. Like, and you say it with no emotion and so lackluster. And they're like, you're like,
yeah.
Like, I'm not even, because there's no more risk. There's no more edge. There's no more.
Yeah.
Is this going to work? The hope factor. I hope this gets better. I hope it works. I hope I find something new.
Yeah.
But after a while, you're like, well, the beats are already there. It's already kind of well crafted. I'm done with this puzzle. What do I do now?
Well, I think of all the people for something like that to happen to, Bert Kreischer loves it. He's like,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't really know him, but I hear him on a million podcasts. So he just seems like he loves doing it. He's like, yeah, I mean, it's kind of annoying, but like my fans love me and they give me shots and it's awesome.
Yeah, he told me that story here. He told me that story when I worked with him the first time. It was here at Laughs.
Were you here when Tom Segura bombed as a feature?
No.
Because I've heard that story. That's hilarious to me.
I wasn't here. It was me, Ellis, and him, and we're on a show. And I wasn't even supposed to be on the show. Uh-huh. I was getting my heart broken.
Oh.
Yeah. And Doughboy was supposed to be here. Doughboy is from Sacramento. He's also on Wildin' Out and Def Comedy, Def Jam stuff and all that. So
I feel like there's a lot of older comics that I never met because when I started, they started leaving or something.
Yeah, when started, yeah. And I came. It's so funny because I came in this like when they were already I guess established relationships with them, and then they left like 2 years later, and when I had come back.
Yeah, like Del Van Dyke and Dugar.
Yeah,
those guys and even like Mark G, like I know him, but they're like people that I never like got to know because they left or something. I don't know.
Yeah, they all of a sudden, and then there was but he didn't show up. And they go, we need someone to get here. And that's back when they used to have Thursday shows.
Were you hosting? Then you hosted for them?
Yeah, they were like, come host. And so I came host, and I came up, and I bombed. I bombed hard because it was all breakup material. It was all sad shit. And fuck, it was
just like, and probably after the show, I'm gonna look at my phone and there won't be a text from her.
Yeah, it was so fun.
And they're just like, oh. I just worked a 50-hour work week. Can you show?
Yeah, I was like, I go, like one of the jokes was like, I saw a shooting star the other day, and I didn't wish for like money or fame. I wished for her, and everyone was like, oh, and I go, addicted to heroin. That fucking bitch, she left. I was like, just going, and nobody laughed. Well, no one was laughing throughout the whole set, but there was just this one fucking cackle. That's it, just one cackle, and I get off stage, and this dude walks up to me, And he goes, that's fucking great, man. That was fucking great.
And it was Bert Kreischer.
Yeah. And
was it really?
Yeah. He goes,
that's so good, dude. Oh my God.
He goes, fuck. He goes, that was fucking great, dude. He goes, fuck, I know. He goes, are you here all weekend? I go, no, I'm only here tonight. No, fuck that. You're here all fucking week.
Yeah, that's exactly how he talks.
It's so funny because I can do his impression on how he normally talks, but I can't really do the high pitched laugh. And so like,
I was go to coffee. And sometimes I can do it better.
Yeah.
I think I listen to Your Mom's House a lot, so I hear Tom Segura talk. And then I listen to Two Bears, One Cave a little bit too, so I hear. But Tom's high pitched Bert Kreischer is the best one.
Yeah.
Where he's just like. I took my shirt off and they won't let me touch.
Yeah, he gets amped up, man. And, but yeah, he was he had me do that, and then I ended up. It was funny because like I ended up running into him on the road a lot.
Yeah.
After all, one of my biggest regrets in stand-up though is that weekend I did it with him. And he gave me a lot of good advice on stand-up and how to do it and where he saw me at. Where he was just telling me, like, he goes, I know where you're at. He goes, because I was there too. He goes, like, this is what you should do. This is this is how you're going to develop, and this is the type of comic who you are. He goes, like, I totally know what it is because I have the same issue. And so he gave me a lot of pointers. And then at the end of the weekend, he goes, what are you doing next weekend? And I go, nothing. And he goes, I need a feature in Miami. You want to come do the Miami Improv?
Oh my God.
And I go, and this is me coming back year one. This is my year one, and when I came back after a 6-7 year hiatus, and I go, man, I can't. I go, I have to go to work, and I didn't have to go to work. I just knew that I didn't have 30 minutes, and I was like, I don't want to eat shit after this guy has given me. But I should have taken it because he already knew what I was doing or where I was at. He probably could have helped me out further along.
Yeah.
I should have.
Write with you and stuff.
Yeah.
And,
or even just like, hey, I know you're going to eat shit because that's what you're supposed to do. Like, in my head, I'm thinking like, oh, I got to go there and I got to outperform and do a 30-minute killer set. And I don't have a 30-minute killer set. And I don't want to disappoint this guy.
You have to throw yourself into the fire.
Yeah.
Even if you do bomb the whole weekend, it's like an experience that will make you better.
And I didn't know that he was giving me that leeway. My thought process was like, I don't want to disappoint this guy. And then... but what he was doing actually was like, no, you're gonna bomb, and that's okay. Because
especially at the Miami Improv, like I've heard stories about that place.
Yeah. And then I seen him because when we worked in Seattle together, and that matter of fact, that was the night that they stole this one guy came out on stage and stole his beer off the stool, and the fucking security guard just himped him up and shit like that.
Wow.
It was at the Parlor, and the Parlor shut down now. But that was way before COVID.
Is it called the Parlor Live?
Yeah.
Okay.
One of the nicest green rooms, one of the best green rooms. Dude, they I would come. They came in for like the staff would come in and ask you if you wanted anything like 4 or 5 times to the point where it's like annoying.
Yeah.
But they were like, but you can order 4 or 5 times. It's all free. And then at the end they're like, do you want anything to take home? And I'm like, yeah. As a comedian on the road, like a feature, I'm like, yeah, I'll take. Matter of fact, can I have 2? For breakfast.
Can
And
I
they're
have
like,
an omelet?
yeah. But that's why they're probably shut down because they're just feeding comics like champs. But and it was great because like when I went there that year too, the Seattle Comic-Con was there.
Oh.
And Manny.
Is that the Wizard World one?
No, this was a Comic-Con one. This was like
actual Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
because Wizard World, that one we did that show at the stand. Fuck, I can't remember the name now. All of a sudden.
Which one? The
one with Michael O'Connell.
A comedy nerdity or
stand-up nerdity.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I just wanted to say that because it was cool and maybe people don't know probably at all. But yeah.
I remember they paid me.
They had them everywhere. The Wizard World people, and then they started going bankrupt or something.
Yeah. There was like Stockton and San Jose and Sacramento and
like Oklahoma City and
I
think they still exist. Like I get emails from them sometimes, but
randomly, like just random newsletters.
Yeah, they'll just be like, "Oh, we're doing an online one with Jason Momoa," and I'm like, I don't want to watch online shit. Like I don't know.
Yeah, the online. I got the because I got lucky and got San Diego Comic-Con tickets for this year for the 2020.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but they canceled it, so they're like, you can be on. But they're gonna roll over to next year.
That's good. Yeah. I've tried a couple times to get the tickets. I got in the room once to buy the tickets, and they only had Sunday left, and I was like, I don't want to do that. Because you have to get Friday or Saturday or both. Like those are the fun days to go when there's a big panel happening or several, and like people are like Sunday's like they're cleaning up and just kind of
all your shirt size is all gone. That
yeah,
you want. Like,
exactly.
I wanted it's yeah.
All the collectibles that you would have, like the one of 1,000, like they're gone.
The artist that you wanted to see had packed up and left already.
Yeah, because it's the last day.
Dude, it was. I remember when we did the Comic-Con. I was like, why are you guys giving me money? Just give me shirts. I'll take all your guys' shirts. I ended up just giving the money back and just buying hella shit over in the what you call it.
Yeah.
But
the floor. What were you saying about Seattle Comic-Con?
Oh no, just it was great because I got to perform at that one too. Because Manny was like, yeah, we're doing was it Manny? Yeah, Manny was the host, the house MC, and he was cool. He's cool as fuck. And he was like, yeah, we're doing a Comic-Con. And they gave me badges, so I got to go do that and go fuck around. And I was just, it was fun, man.
Yeah.
And
that's what I like about comedies. You just do so many weird things like that, and people would just like hook you up sometimes. I mean, I haven't had a lot of that stuff, but it happens and it's cool.
Yeah.
Because
dude, I was gonna and at that Comic-Con at the 2021. So I get the ticket the day I get the tickets. I'm at Rooster Teeth. It's me and Mark Norman and Dayoud.
Hey, comedy.
Yeah, dude. He's like he says a bunch of uggos hanging out over here. He's cool as shit. We were kicking it, and me, him, and Dayoud, and that was a fun weekend.
So funny.
Yeah, that was a fun weekend because like I had tickets because I was a season ticket holder Raider game, and then got tickets to see the 49ers.
Mark did?
No, Dayoud.
Oh, okay.
And so, but I told Mark because I hit him up on Twitter. I was like, hey man, I got an extra ticket for the Raider game. If you want to catch it?
He's down too. Like he'll do that stuff.
Yeah, we all. So he was.
I need to ask him if he'll do my podcast next time he's coming to because sometimes he does it. Like on his podcast, he'll say like, oh yeah, this like comic asked me to do it and. Yeah. I did it. Like he's cool. Like he answers messages. So I don't know. I might try next time.
That was a fun ass week because that's all we did was hang out, and I get along with Dayoud. We all kick it. So it was funny because Dayoud was like he invited him to the 49er game, and I had already invited him to the Raider game, and he goes and he looks at me, and I know Dayoud really wants to hang out with Mark, and I was like, and he goes, hey man, I'm sorry. No man, it's totally fine. Like I'm a Raider fan. Like I'm going to the game, and like I got good seats. I don't care who comes with me. I'm just like my cousin will come up, and I was like, no, go hang out. And so fucking Mark Norman went with Dayoud, and they all went to go to the Raider.
I think I heard about that on their podcast. Like I heard him talk about it, like mention it, because like he went, like Joey Avery went and stuff.
Yeah, all those cats went, and then me and him went and caught Ford and Ferrari, or Ferrari and Ford versus Ford or some shit.
I like that movie. Did you like it?
Huh? It was. I'm not a car guy. But
I'm not either. But I just loved.
I knew there was
the movie
a lot
was
of
fun. You know?
I knew there was a lot of stuff I missed. It was like it's like someone that's not into comic books and they went to go see a Marvel movie. And there's a whole bunch of stuff in the background. You're like, oh, they become this superhero, or
like in The Winter Soldier when they're like people like Stephen Strange, and like it means something to a nerd, but the regular person's like, oh, that's just some guy's name. Yeah, it's like, oh, that's Doctor Strange. Like he's gonna be in the movies later. You know?
It's like it's a lot of stuff was left on the table that I know, but I did like the movie because I like Christian Bale and I do like Matt Damon, and
the director's great too.
I can't remember who the director was.
It's now it's escaping me. He did Walk the Line and the Wolverine. And he
Mangold.
Did Logan. Yeah, James Mangold. Yeah. Logan. He's supposed to be doing the next Indiana Jones movie now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like Spielberg was just like, I'm dropping out. No one can agree on the script. So he dropped out. I read this story the other day.
Oh, really?
So Mangold is supposedly doing it. I don't want them to do it.
No,
I want
neither.
them to reboot it.
Yes, I would.
Like, just do it James Bond style. Just have like a new person and just set it back in the 30s, because the best time is the 30s when things are still discoverable. Mm-hmm. But if you do it like in the 60s, it's like, what treasure are you looking for anymore?
Yeah, it's like now we're dipping in the love and civil rights movements and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, let's go back to Egyptian. I'm a fan of that. I like that. I used to have this joke about Indiana Jones, the last one they did. I was like, they should have just went to Mexico and tried to find clean water. That'd have been a way more interesting story as opposed to these crystals.
Indiana Jones and the Montezuma's Revenge.
Yeah. I was like, that'd be the best. Because this crystal alien one was ridiculous. It was so
You know what
bad.
though? It could have been really good. I think it wasn't executed right, but like, if you change that movie around a little bit, if you take out the weird refrigerator scene, like that whole sequence is stupid. It's like they just threw it in there to like reference that nuclear
bombs were going at that time, like that was a thing at the time.
The vine swinging was ridiculous to me.
Yeah, that was the first moment. Like the refrigerator was annoying, but then I remember being in the theater, and then like once they were swinging on the vines and the monkeys were like looking at them and like doing faces, I was just like, why? Like, why did you? Because the rest of the movie's like fine. Like, it's not bad. I don't even the CGI ants. I was like, that's fine. I don't care.
Yeah.
But the monkey thing, and it's just, why are you injecting these like weird non sequitur-y?
They put everything into there to try. Like, it was quicksand. There was monkeys. There was ants. There was waterfalls.
But those things are cool. But like, why is the monkey breaking the fourth wall and like looking at the audience or the characters? Like, that's not what a monkey would do.
It turned into Jumanji.
Yeah,
that's what it did after a while. I was like, I don't. This is not what I.
It's just the wrong tone.
Yeah, I was like, I like the whole. The thing I like too about the Indiana Jones is when they first started up, it's like it was this serious type of like I was almost learning and without knowing that I was learning about these other cultures and about this other stuff. Yeah. And then it's like, oh, so this is like
I don't know how accurate it all was.
No, yeah. The Temple of Doom though was just like cool. I mean, but
I love Temple of Doom.
Yeah,
it's like because it's so different than the first one. Like so many sequels are like, let's do the same thing again. Mm-hmm. We'll just like up the ante a little bit. But that movie is just like the first one's an adventure film. The second one is a haunted house movie.
Yeah,
I think Roger Ebert said that.
It's great. That's a great analogy because it's like the I like that it's a standalone. It's standalone. Like if you didn't know that you're like, there's another one. There's one before this. Like what?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Because that's part of the pulp essence. Like the original source material. I mean, there's no Indiana Jones, but they just were taking the idea of adventure serials. Lucas and Spielberg, they're like fans because they grew up with that stuff.
Yeah.
So they're like, we're gonna take that energy and like make our own thing with it. And that's where Indiana Jones came from, and Star Wars to a degree, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like Flash Gordon.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's why it's like so like this one's separate from that one, and it starts out with him in China, and he has this adventure, and then it wraps up, and he just falls into the next adventure, which is the main film, and like that kind of feeling is really cool. But then, Crystal Skull is like they like got away from that somehow. I don't know. It
just turned into a cereal box instead of a cereal, you know, like a back of a cereal box. It's just all kind of colorful and clean, just to keep your attention. And it's like, but there's nothing in it.
And the aliens were like, eat Greyos.
Yeah,
like,
empty cars
with crystal marshmallows.
Yeah, that's what they were doing, just marketing. And then, because I like movies like that too that are sequels but standalones, like even like Romancing the Stone and Jewel of the Nile.
I don't think I've seen the second one, but Romancing the Stone is good. Yeah.
Yeah, like they're. I mean, the characters get reintroduced and stuff like that, but they're kind of their own. You could watch either or, and it doesn't really matter. You don't need to see the first one to understand the second one.
Yeah. They might make a joke or something, but you don't need it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, because they were talking about Dredd, and I was thinking about because Dredd is basically it's pretty much the Raid. You know?
I was gonna say that too. Yeah.
Yeah, but I love. I got to see I got to see Raid 2 in the theater before.
I still haven't seen Raid 2.
Oh, you haven't?
No, I need to. Yeah.
Dude, so I seen Raid 2 first. Because I had seen because I was watching World Star Hip Hop, fight compilations. And there was like and it showed like before the fight compilation, it would show like it shows like martial arts stuff, and then they splice in real fights and stuff like that. And before they start going this countdown, I don't know. Have you ever seen those? Have you ever seen the World Star Hip Hop fight compilations?
No, I don't know how. I just never got into it. Like I didn't know about it. I grew up in Folsom. I'm sheltered. I'm white.
Dude, it's after a while, it's like it's too much. I had to stop watching them because it's so negative, dude. It's just after a while you get so desensitized and then
to violence.
Yeah,
like real violence. Yeah. And I saw the Kimbo Slice fight where he knocks the guy's eyeball out. I would see like random shit like that. I don't know if that was part of it or not.
No, but it possibly could because there's I'm probably on like volume 64 now or something like that, and they're like 30 minutes long of just like people sending in their hood fights and or scuffles in clubs and bars and stuff like that, and so it's just tons and tons and tons of that, and so
now Stephen Fury and Saul Trujillo do an Instagram show about it.
Oh, they do?
What have you never seen? They have an account. It's like I think it's called Punching Down or Punching Up, and it's just them. They watch like those kinds of fights, and they just make fun of it for like they're like 60-second fights, and
it's crazy, man. Because there's people that know how to fight, and then there's people on there that don't know how to fight.
Yeah,
But dude, it's especially being this age now. Like when you're younger, fighting is cool, and fighting is like, yo, man, that's how you run shit. But like now, in my older age, I was about to get in a fight the other day. Who was I talking about that with to? What you go? But I was talking about how I was about to get in a fight this other day. I'm out running, you know, and I look back to see if there's a car coming. There's no car coming. There's a dude on this bike, you know, and he's an older cat, but he's a Mexican dude. He got tatted up and shit like that, and you can tell that he's done his time. He sat down for a little while.
His cranberry juice, listening to
Fleetwood Mac. Yeah. And he goes, but he turns around and he rolls back and he was like, "You got a problem?" And I didn't know what he said, so I took my headphones off and I go, "What?" And he goes like, "You got a problem? What's up?" And I go, "What are you talking about?" And he was like, "You know, you're looking at me." And I was like, "I wasn't looking at you. I was looking to see if a car was coming." And I go, "Wait, what's happening?" And then he was like, "That's what I'm asking. What's happening?" And I go, "You want to fight? You want to go or something?" And he was like, before you know it, I'm like, "Oh shit, I'm about to get in a fight right now." And it's been a minute, you know. And I was like, "All right." And then my next thought process was like, I seen all these fights happen on like World Star Hip Hop, and I've seen fools getting cracked and then hit the cement hella hard.
Yeah.
And I was like, what if that happens and I kill him? You know, because this dude was older than me though. Yeah. And then I was like, or what if it happens to me and he kills me? And also like I started thinking like, hey, the stakes are way higher now as you're older. And I was like, yeah,
you don't
man.
think about that stuff when you're a kid, and you also just you fall better when you're young. Mm-hmm. But when you're old, you just kind of like your body doesn't react properly.
It's just like playing basketball. Like when you play it as a kid, you're just, you know, you're all over the place. You got all this speed, all this agility, and then when you get older, it's like, yo, I have to conserve my energy and figure out, you know, what makes the best.
You have to be like a wily veteran.
Yeah.
I used to play at the gym in Folsom when I was younger, and there was like a bunch of kids, and we'd be like running around quick and stuff, and then there was like these old guys who'd be like, "Whoa, slow down," and they would like, you could just see like there was this like tall, like lanky guy, and he had all these like slow guy tricks where he would do well because he just knew how to move his body and get around people or like
smarter, not
rebounds.
harder.
Exactly.
So now, what was I gonna say? Now about the Raid 2 though. So it was really good.
Yeah. We were gonna review Tenet, and now we're here. We'll get to it. It's in my head. I'm remembering.
It's super. That's I don't know. I get hella ADD in this, and we jump.
Oh, it's okay. I know.
Jump off into other things, because the Raid 2 is just really good, man. I implore you to see it.
I saw the trailer and I was excited, and then it just never happened for me. I don't know. Like I think the Raid, both of those movies were not like at the theater. Like you had to go to like a certain theater.
I seen it in a tower. That's where I seen it.
Yeah, it's like that kind of
art house shit.
Yeah, or like one of the Roseville theaters will have it. You know, like it would be one theater in town has it, but not all of them. Mm-hmm. So it's like I just never got around to it, and then it wasn't streaming. So I just never saw it. But I've seen the Raid once. I need to watch it again.
Dude, the part 2 will ruin you from all like martial art movies, man. Because like I seen it and I was just
those guys are so serious. Like they just
it's so good. It's so funny because it's directed by a white dude, like this dude from Amsterdam or something like that.
Gareth Edward or Evans or something.
Yeah, and he was supposed to make a third one, but he got into I think Wanted. I think he made Wanted.
Really?
With James McAvoy.
No, that's Timur Bekmambetov.
Oh, who was?
Dude, that's a deep pull. I feel like. Do you know who that is though? That he made the Abraham Lincoln versus Vampires or whatever that movie.
Yeah, and he made the Russian ones, the Russian Night Watch and Day Watch. Yeah, those are great.
That was in my Netflix queue forever, and I never. It was like back when DVDs were still, I would get those. Uh-huh. It was in there, and I never felt like getting it. But I was like, I have to watch Night Watch and Day Watch, and then I never did it.
You didn't? Oh, you never seen it?
Are they good?
Yeah. Because, well, that's where I got my wires crossed. Because Night Watch and Day Watch were the two that he came out with, and he was going to come out with a third, but he ended up doing Wanted, and he goes, I pretty much. After that, I didn't have the same feeling that I was going to do what you call it though. But there's something else too that the dude that other guy did, and he was like, I want to
see, because I know there's like two directors who have like similar names, and one of them's like the guy who did Rogue One and Godzilla, and he's like Gareth. I think he's Gareth Evans, and then this guy's like something close, like, but he's different.
Godzilla.
Did you like the Godzilla? Have you liked those newer ones?
Like. It was fun, but like the first one I didn't really like.
It doesn't get good until they're fighting in the city, but the rest of the movie's like really boring.
Yeah, and it was like because that's when they were trying to make that universal universe, that horror universe.
Yeah, so there's Gareth Edwards and Gareth Evans. And
That's the one with the raid right there.
So,
No,
Edwards, he's the Rogue One Godzilla guy.
Okay.
Okay, and then Evans, he's the raid guy.
Okay.
See, I knew they were both Gareth though.
Yeah.
But they both look similar. Like they're both white guys, you know.
But it's so crazy because like the raid 2, it picks up right after the raid 1. Like an hour after.
Oh, okay.
And
I like when they do that. That's cool.
Yeah, and it's like
what did he do? Oh, Gangs of London he's been working on? Is that what you were saying? Or VHS?
Oh, VHS. I can't remember what other one was.
Previs Action?
Gang of London, I just seen a trailer for that, or what you call for that?
Yeah.
Oh, you see the trailer for Borat 2?
Yeah. It looks good.
And then there's something else. I'm so upset because like of course everything that we like to do is all gone or has been on pause for a minute. But
yeah.
like
it was so cool to go see Tenet in the theater.
Yeah.
It was nice. I went to El Dorado because El Dorado Hills, they're in Placer County, so they were open. So I went to the Regal in El Dorado Hills. No one was there.
I had to go to Santa Cruz. I went to Santa Cruz to go see it. Yeah, because Santa Cruz opened up like I think a week before.
Did you go like just for the movie, or were you doing a show too?
Yeah, no, I went for the movie.
Okay.
I've driven to LA to catch a movie once because it was only playing at this rinky-dink like art house theater.
What movie was it?
It was called Russian Dolls, and it's a sequel to another movie called La Bruges Espagnole, and it's the Spanish Apartment.
Okay.
And it was this movie. It's about like this guy from France goes to Spain to go to college, and he meets all these people, and it's kind of like this really little art house thing. But then all of a sudden, it turned into a trilogy. But it was really hard to find the movie. I just recently got to see the last one. It's called Chinese Puzzle, and it's really good. But I've done that for a lot of flicks because that was the thing too. When I would be on the road, I would go and I'd find the oldest theaters and I'd catch a movie there, and then I'd find their newest theater and catch a movie there.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, that's kind of like what that also got me out of my hotel room a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard lots of comedians on podcasts just saying how they just sit in their hotel room and they're like, they have to make an effort to like, I'm going to go to the museum here. Mm-hmm. But then eventually they've like, oh, I've been to this city 5 times. I've done everything that I want to do.
Yeah.
So they're bored. I don't know. But
you have to make it like, I started realizing this, like when you're on the road, it's like you have to make it your home. So you have to have like, like routine things that you like doing. Like now I know like when I go to Reno, like, oh, I'm gonna go to Peg's, Incredible Eggs or some shit like that. It's over, right? And I was like, that's where I'm gonna have breakfast. And now after that, I'm gonna take a walk down the creek because like I like that little walk. And then I'm gonna go have coffee here. And then I'm gonna ride over here. So it has to be a scheduled setup day. So I'm not just sitting in this hotel room because I'm being comfortable. It's like I have to be engulfed in the like when I would travel in the world, when I would go like abroad, I was like, I want to be engulfed in the culture. I don't want to just be an American traveling. Yeah, I want to be part of this community.
You want to see what it's really like to be there, so you see, you actually see those people's lives. Yeah.
I want to see that dude that's over in the corner. I want to be familiar with him because he comes here every day too. Yeah. So it's like, and then on top of that, with that being said, like all of a sudden you can develop material while you're sitting there, while you're standing, because you're experiencing life and you're experiencing their day-to-day life.
Yeah.
And they're sort of like, like, oh, this is Chicago, and dude, I'm not used to it being this cold all the fucking time. Like, you give it a break, please. And like, there's things that you could do in California that you can't do in Chicago that I've noticed. Like, you can't get drunk and fall asleep on your porch, otherwise you die. know. So it's like, so you have to definitely constantly be up, because otherwise you're just gonna go on stage and have a tape recorded set, and you're just not developing, you're not doing anything, and then
because you want to kind of open with that something about where you are. You don't want to just, hey guys, what's up? Anyways, so like
here's my structured, perfectly timed joke that I've worked out for 5 years every single day. Yeah. And then it's like, okay, cool. And then when you come back next year, you're gonna have the same thing. Like, it's like, and like that's like when I go up and fuck around. I have staples of things that I want to say or where I want to go, but I like to leave this little space in between, like this space in between to like go out wherever I want to go and figure this out. And that's one of the things that Bert was talking about. He was like, your stream of consciousness is funny. He goes, the way you think is funny. He goes, so you're not going to have a writer's block because you're just going to basically be able to
you're like a tree that's like it starts growing over here, and then it just keeps growing, and then it almost like falls because it's too heavy over here.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. And it's like all right, we'll just go back over here.
Like I've seen you on stage, like I think like a month ago, or 2 months. I don't know. Whenever last I was here, but I think it was a show that I did with you.
They were inside?
The last day they were open inside before it got closed, and now it's open inside again. But you were doing that where you were like going here and there and there, and then you were like 3 things removed, and you were like, but what was that? What was I talking about? What was I like? You were asking the crowd like they were like,
yeah,
you guys weren't writing this down for me.
Yeah, I remember when I came up with this kid named Ray. I remember he would always be like, he's like, you're the comedian. He said, stop asking them where, like, stop having them write your joke for you. And I go, I'm not. Yeah. I go, I'm not. I'm just. I get so excited that I forget where I was at, and I didn't get to finish the joke. And he goes, yeah, and like I could
talking about Ray
Molina.
Yeah,
but I haven't
seen him in a while.
I could see what he was talking about, but also too, that's not how my funny is, or that's how his funny is very structured and very, and it's dark, and he's got every word is calculated. There's no fat.
Even the pauses he does and the looks on it, like he'll just
everything.
So what do you think about? Yeah,
he's like. Yeah, the other day, he's very like,
I saw this woman walking her dog, and I said, "Why is that a cat?"
Yeah, and it's just So I go. That's just. I started realizing that people's. However you find your funny is how you find it. As long as it long as it delivers. And. I like sometimes I get lost, and hey, that's my vulnerability on stage is what makes me funny, I feel, because I'm letting people know, like, hey, it's okay to have this, to stutter or to fuck up a word. Because sometimes when comics fuck up words on the thing, and they're just like, oh my God, I stuttered and I stammered on a word. They all think I'm a fraud. They all know now.
I think that's newer comics though, right? Like a pro doesn't do that. A pro's just like.
Sometimes though, I've seen people that have, because some pros are monologue-ish. So they have a timing thing. They don't like interruption. They don't like, of course, they don't like hecklers, but they just, but it's like, I would say like seasoned comics, because it's just weird. I feel there's a difference between a pro and a seasoned comic. Like
because there's people who come up and they sort of just follow this path of like clubs, and then they just are always, and then there's like people that do a lot of different shows in different places, and you get all this different, like you get these crowds where they yell at you, and then you do a bunch of open mics in a pool hall. Yeah. Or like the Boxing Donkey, we used to do that, and it was like on Mondays. So during football, the Monday Night Football would be on. Yeah. And we'd have to be competing with that.
Because it's like, there's like this, the pro is like, they really know how to play for the camera. They know how to. Yeah. This is it. I don't even need an audience because I know that A is B, C equals D, and if D isn't less the cost than a recall, then we don't do one. No, that's a Fight Club. Again, I
need to watch that again. It's been so long,
dude. I used to quote this shit. I used to love the fuck out that movie, man. It's I bet you watch it now. You're like, oh shit, this is Trump supporter shit. Like what you got,
Probably, yeah. Well, yeah. The club is just the Proud Boys, probably.
Yeah,
the Fight Club,
pretty much. But it's like, but I used to quote the shit out of that movie all the time too, because it was great. He's like, did she? Because that's when they're sitting in the plane, and then that's when he's talking about like, he goes, I have this thing about. He goes like, he told.
Is that when he first like meets him?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and he's talking about the soap thing.
Yeah. And he's like, he goes, Tyler, you have to be one of the most interesting. You're the most interesting single-serving friend I've ever had. And he looks at him. He goes, I have this thing about being on a plane single-serving. He's like, no, I get it. It's clever. How's that working out for you? What? Being clever. He goes, good. He goes, keep at it. The dialogue is so good in that movie.
Yeah.
And especially when he's talking, and then like, and Brad Pitt, it's so funny because when you watch 12 Monkeys, and then you can see Tyler Durden in his character there too as well. Very like, we're gonna fucking. He's like, and they're in the.
But it's like a really heightened version.
Yeah, it's super manic version of Tyler Durden, but you can see it in there. Yeah. And then when you see Tyler Durden, then like the next time, like 2 years later, he's kind of like honed in that character a little bit better. But I liked it. 12 Monkeys is a great movie too, man. It's I feel like it doesn't get its due.
There's so much stuff to watch, and like. I've seen a lot of things too, but then I just haven't watched it for a while because there's like certain things that you rewatch, right? Like it's in your rewatch rotation.
Yeah.
And there's other things you hear about, so you watch it, but you don't buy it. Because I have like a collection of DVDs and Blu-rays now, but that these are things I've seen a million times because I own them.
What are your rewatches?
I don't know, like The Mummy.
Which one? The Brandon Fraser or the Tom Cruise?
Oh no, the Brendan Fraser.
You're like, how dare you? Podcast over.
Yeah. I mean, the Tom Cruise one was like, it was cool, but it just didn't have enough of its own thing going on besides, like, the concept was different, like, spoilers, he becomes the mummy at the end.
Yeah.
So he was supposed to be, like, a super-powered man who has a curse, which is, like, a cool idea, but I just feel like the execution was really weird. And then they were trying too hard to create the universe, you know, like, like we have the Godzilla universe, we have then the Universal one, their Monsters universe, and then, of course, Marvel and DC.
Yeah.
And I think, like, Marvel did it so well that everyone else was like, well, we need to do this now.
Yeah.
But then they would, like, the first movie, they would say, like, this is going to be a universe. So they'd introduce, like, 12 things.
Yeah.
I mean,
and they come out with the group movie too soon. It's like,
yeah,
it's
like, you didn't earn the Justice League because, like, Cyborg didn't have a movie, The Flash didn't have a movie, you don't have a Green Lantern, Batman didn't have his own movie, Superman had 1.5 movies, Wonder Woman didn't even have a movie,
and then you have Suicide Squad come out too, trying to be a part of the universe as well. It's like, it just doesn't work.
Yeah, and they just, I don't know. I'm excited for James Gunn's Suicide Squad, though.
Yeah.
That looks good.
I want to check that out, too. Because that's what I'm saying. They put a hold on all these flicks, man. Like, I want to see the Kingsman, the prequel one, you know. I thought the second one was super lackluster.
Yeah, it was fun, but there's just stuff in that movie that I'm like, why did you do that?
Yeah.
Like, doesn't Channing Tatum get, like, sidelined for the whole movie?
The whole fucking movie. Yeah, I'm like, why'd you even hire this dude for? It's like, he must have just wanted to be in it.
Yeah, because he wasn't in the first one, right?
No.
So it's like, why did you hire him to be in the movie? Like, there's just weird things.
There's a bunch of stunt casting after a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, I didn't like that. And then, but the second one looks more serious because it's, you know, back in World War I, I guess, or some shit like that.
Yeah, it has Ray Fiennes in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks cool. Like, I saw the trailer like a year and a half ago now.
Dude, I waited hella long to watch the New Mutants. That shit has been trying to come out for like 3-4 years and shit.
Yes, that movie, I think the release date got pushed like, what, 5 times?
Yeah, and it's so bad. I went and seen half of it at the drive-ins. And
I heard it was really bad. I'm gonna wait for Disney Plus.
Yeah, I was like, this is not good. I was like,
was it better than Phoenix? Because Phoenix is atrocious.
Was horrible.
That is like one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Dude, I watched it and I'm like, what are we doing? I don't know where I'm at. I was like, I follow this, and I can't follow this.
It's just like, it feels like the scale went down. Like, I didn't feel like the world was in trouble. It just felt like, oh, this girl is going through some shit. Yeah. It didn't feel like the Phoenix. Like, I want to feel like she's going to envelop the earth in her fire or something.
And I didn't like her casting. I wasn't a fan of it. I was like, dude, you just did really decent on Game of Thrones, which is an ensemble thing, and it's more story-based driven, as opposed to you being a great actress, because she wasn't very good.
I like Famke Janssen more, and she's kind of like... She's not the best actress either, but
she's hot. What you got here?
It's important.
It's important, man. Like, let's be real. It is important. I mean, because sex sells movies. Sex sells everything, you know, and it sucks, but that's what it is. And I hate that they were trying to, force feed these like, you know, lackluster,
she wasn't, like, compelling, though. Like, she didn't have... presence.
Dude,
you know,
for the longest time, like, ever since, you know, after Julia Roberts, they were like, we have to find the next, you know, beautiful, you know, hot actress and shit, you know what I mean? So they trying to shove Julia Stiles down our throat at one point.
Yeah.
They try to shove...
Five head?
Yeah. She has meat face.
I like her. She's fine.
You like her, but she's not...
She was really good in the Bourne movies, because she was like... She's
a side character, but it's
But I mean, like, her casting in that movie is like, that's an analyst.
Yes.
I see her doing that, and it was, like, perfect. And it was cool how they kept using her in the movies.
She's not leading lady, but she's, you know, like what you call it. And then even like when she's in she's in Dexter too, you know, after a while. But it's like, and same thing, they try to force Kirsten Dunst down our throat for a fat minute too.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Do you remember in Spider-Man 2 when the Doc Ock is coming for them and they're in the restaurant and he throws the car through the window, and then they like stand up after the car goes through the window, and there's this moment where he's like, thump, thump, and you see her and she's just like every time he thumps, like, her face, but the way that they lit her or something, she looks like she's like she just woke up.
Yeah.
And she's just like... what? Like, it's such an unflattering shot.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why? Like, I mean, like, she's not, like, the most attractive for me, but, I mean, it doesn't matter if an actress is attractive for me. What matters is, like, are they photographed well, and then are they a good actress? And
Yeah,
she's just neither thing. Like, I don't know.
I don't know, man.
It wasn't good.
Okay, well, let's do this then.
But you're right. They were tried to shove down like certain people that weren't necessarily talented, but they were like, this is the next person, and they did like a bunch of movies.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think of other people like that.
But don't be trying to be all no definitely
you
have to be hot to be a leading lady because you have to be hot to be leading, well, almost to be hot leading. That's
There's
a double standard there too.
Melissa McCarthy can do it.
Melissa McCarthy, what's her name?
Have you seen Spy? That movie's hella good.
Wait, with Jason Bateman?
No, Jason Statham's in it.
No, who's?
Am I saying the wrong name? Melissa McCarthy?
You're saying the right name. You're talking Mike and Molly. That's who you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Mike, okay, so I'm thinking
I don't like all her movies.
She was in one with Jason Bateman where it's like she was a scam artist though, but I didn't see.
Oh no, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah.
No, there's a movie called Spy where she like gets recruited, or she's in the CIA, I think, as like a desk person, and then somehow she becomes a field agent. And actually, like I remember like going, like I just was like, I'm gonna watch it, like fuck it, it's on HBO, I'll watch it. And I just went into it with that mentality, and then I was like pleasantly surprised that it was actually really funny, and she carries the movie well.
Yeah, I don't like
I could
her.
see why she's like a star. But yeah, like Kirsten Dunst is like just bleh.
Not that I like her, but not that I'm not saying I don't like her. I'm just not a fan of her movies. Like I'm not a fan of Will Ferrell's movies either.
Yeah,
I don't think he's
funny. I'm
funny.
not a big Kevin Hart movie guy.
And I don't think she's funny either.
Yeah.
But she is funny to people, so she can carry a movie.
Yes.
So it's like she has some attributes.
But you should see Spy, because Spy, I think it's good. I
Same thing
don't
with
know,
like
I think it's good.
Like Tom Hanks, he's not a good-looking dude.
No. Yeah.
But he's a great actor.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm trying to think of like who's not a great-looking woman, but that's a good actress.
Yeah. No, I was trying to come up because I mean that's the thing is like Hollywood kind of sucks that way, right?
Yeah,
like,
there's the double standard right there. That's the double standard. So
I just wanted to say that before we keep being like, well, they can only be good if they're hot. You know, like,
no, it's not. It's just what they put out there, and that's what I'm saying. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's a sexist thing because we're not the ones making the decisions.
No,
we're the ones looking at what's happening on the screen and what's going on.
Yeah.
But just because we're saying the truth, people start. This is what I don't like about what happens
Tilda
in the
Swinton?
world, huh?
Tilda Swinton.
She's okay.
She's
a
like
great
androgynous.
actress.
Oh, that's what I mean. Like
yeah.
she's not like beautiful, but you like watching her, and she's a good actress.
Yeah, but this is what I don't like. I don't like that society or people will hear something like this conversation and they'll take our observation and say that we're being judgmental. And it's like, no, it's what it is. You know,
we're just talking about the actual real situation.
Yeah, and it's like, but she's, you say she's androgynous. That's so funny because like,
she is, right? There's movies where she's played like
Constantine,
men or boys. Yeah.
And she was great in that. And at the beach, I liked her in The Beach.
I don't think I've seen that.
You never seen The Beach?
Uh-uh.
Oh man, you should see it.
You've definitely seen, like, I'm a big movie guy, and all my friends know me as like the movie guy, but you were like
on
steroids. Like you've seen, because you I remember like when you had your podcast. I don't know if do you still do one?
Yeah, but it's like I can't really because it was all about new movies, and then I do some reviews of old movies and shit like that. But now it's like I've been only doing reviews of old flicks, but like because I'd go to the movie theater every day. Like I had the movie pass when it was $40 when it first came out.
Yeah,
and then
but you see like almost everything. Like you're like, well, that thing might suck, but I'll go see it. And then you'll post like your bathroom, like you can go to the bathroom this many times.
Yeah, the bathroom breaks.
But you had a podcast for a while. Like you started it where you had like guests on. You would talk about stuff, and like you said you used to have like a movie scam or something.
Oh yeah.
So I remember all that stuff you talked about. So I know you've always been like obsessed with movies, and you go and constantly and like.
My dad had a black box when I was a kid, and because we didn't have cable at my mom's house, so when I would go to my dad's house, we had a black box, and the thing about it is a pay-per-view would show a movie, you know, once or twice every 2 weeks a new movie would come out, or two movies would come out, and then but it would only on the pay-per-view that movie would play on repeat constantly over and over and over again. And so I started watching movies because I liked movies, but then I started watching movies over and over and over again by accident just because it was the only thing on it. It was new, and I was like...
That happened a lot more when we were younger because, I mean, you're older than me, but I was young enough that, movies would just be on like TNT and you just have to watch it again, or you would rent it and like watch it 3 times before you brought it back.
And then I started appreciating a lot of more things about films. Like it stopped turning into movies and it started turning into films for me. And I was like, oh, I got to the point where it's like I can't watch trailers because I can tell you what's going to happen.
Yes,
and I got to a point where it's like, oh, I can't look at the billings of the before the movie because I was like, I know how much the pay scale is sometimes on some actors, so I know if they're gonna make it to the second act or through the second. Then I started then I started realizing, like, because I was like, oh, he's got a single card billing, and this guy got a 2-card billing, and oh, this guy's an and I was like, oh, that means he's special or introducing, and then
they'll like list everybody, and then it'll be like featuring. It's weird. It's almost like SNL credits at the beginning. They'll be like, there's like featured players, but then there's other like. It's kind of weird how they do that, and you're like, wait, that person's like, why are they in this section of the credits?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it'll be like starring and then featuring.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is the difference?
It's all what they bargain in their contracts, you know. And if you can bargain in your contract, then like I said, you make enough money to be a single card credit, and then it's like, oh, these guys, this is a double card credit, this is a triple card credit, you know what, yada yada yada. And so it's like I couldn't do that, and then I started watching flicks for like I said, I started realizing what's the when the first act ends and the second act begins and then the third act, and I was like, oh, okay. And so I started looking at writing, and then I started looking at story development.
Have you ever made anything or tried to?
I made a short film. I helped make a short film at a 48-hour film festival. We won. It was back in 2000.
Was it the Sacramento one?
Yeah.
Dude, I've gone down the rabbit hole a couple times on YouTube and watched those. I don't know if I've seen the one you did, but some of most of them are so bad.
Oh, I'll show you mine. I'll show you. It was crazy. You know what's so sad? So all my life I was like, I want to be, because I've always wanted to be an actor or a comic. We found this. My dad had all this like stuff when I was in second grade or third grade or and then he brought it over the house.
One of those like projects you make where it's like, what do you want to do?
Yeah, and all of a sudden it said comedian, and it was all spelled all incorrectly.
It was like COMIDEAN.
Had a 3 in there and shit. And then
there's an @ sign, and you're like, they didn't even make those yet.
Yeah. Oh, ampersand. And I was like, but I was about the flicks. Or wait, what was we saying before that?
Make movies 40-hour.
Yeah. So I helped make that, but I always wanted to be on a movie theater screen. I was like, because I was just like the shit. I was I was sneaking the movies. I go see everything, and finally this movie's gonna be at the Crest Theater, and it's got and I'm gonna see myself on a movie theater screen. It's gonna be crazy, and this it's a full house because first I don't know why there was so many people there, but I was like, this is fucking dope.
Just to see the worst movies ever.
Yeah, to see the shittiest shit ever. If you guys don't know, okay, so this is what the 48 Film Festival is.
Yeah.
They give you seven rules to follow.
Yeah,
and they
like
give you a genre.
Include a rose or something like that, right?
So you gotta they'll give you a prop that you have to use in it, and this is everybody. They give everyone the same rules, but they give everybody different genres of film to produce.
Oh,
so it's like, you have to have a character named this, you have to have a prop, you have to have the line from this movie, you have to have what else? Oh, you have to do it within 7. It has to be under 7 minutes or less. You have to shoot it, write it, cut it, all within 48 hours.
Yeah.
And
that's probably mostly why they suck. But
yeah, and it's like, and then there's another one too. There's a couple others, and then they give you, you have to do it within the genre, and then we got film noir in ours.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So, but it was fun, man. And my buddy, I was like, I have your tickets, man, because there's another guy. I used to work with another film crew, and we used to. Because I was in film crew. I liked the development of film. Because you were talking about the DVDs. So when DVDs first came out, I devoured the whole DVD because that was my film school. I got to learn about
extras and everything.
Yeah, I got to learn about continuity, and I got to learn about lighting and how the background's a character and how everything is meant for something.
You start to go like, wait, they think about all that stuff, and you're like blown away that there's so much planning. Because I remember like I was in English class and I had a teacher go over like a scene in some movie. I think it was Philadelphia, which I've still never seen.
Oh, you haven't seen? Oh,
I know. Dude, I have a lot of film holes. I really do. But she was going
That's
over...
one of my favorites. That's a really good movie.
Yeah, I need to watch it. I think it was that movie. And it was like a scene where I think it was... I might be making this up, but I think Tom Hanks is like... His character's trying to get something, and they have like this row of dudes, and they're all wearing glasses. And she was just explaining like all the stuff going into the scene to make you feel a certain way for the character. Mm-hmm. So it was like, oh, they're wearing glasses, which kind of separates, like they were thick, big glasses that were kind of, so it like separates them. They're not people. They're like this like wall of assholes, you know? And he's like this sad, like trying to get this thing from them. Everything's gray. It's lit a certain way. And I was just like, no, there's no way they thought it. Like, get out of here. They didn't do that. But they did. Like, that's how films are made, is they think of everything, and there's, like, a theme, and there's, like, meaning and symbolism, and there's like the composition is arranged a certain way to like tell you stuff and to direct your eyes somewhere.
Yeah.
And like when you start learning all that stuff, it's like whoa.
And and you break down, and you go see a movie, and you break it down to it's like this guy is great. Whoever directed this they're on point.
Yeah.
Man, there'd be like the reason why there's the camera angle is shot up because it wants the characters to establish dominance over the other character or whatnot.
Sometimes it's obvious, like in the Star Trek remake where the Vulcans are sitting here and Spock is here and he's in trouble. But then other times it's like they'll just do an angle, and you're just like. It's subtle because they're just, this person's getting shot upwards and that person's being shot downwards, or just things like that.
And it was like that was just great. That DVD when the commentaries came out and you could hear the directors talking about stuff and you could hear about. Then some would have, like I said, they'd have the lighting guys and the stage managers and directors, and I was like, dude, this is. I used to devour the whole. I used to try to find the Criterion collections, and I used to try to find like all the the director's cuts of everything, or even like special limited editions. I would go on eBay and try to find them and buy them. And I've spent quite a. This girl that I'm kind of. I don't know if we're seeing anyway.
Megan, maybe
the maybe.
What's up, girl?
I was at the house and we're on the phone, and I go, I got to answer the door. And she's like, what? And I was like, Amazon's here. And, she goes, what'd you get? And I go, I got all these DVDs that I want. She's like, you got DVDs? And I go, yeah. She's like, don't ever tell me you bought a DVD again. I go, well, you're going to be mad that I paid like $50 for this.
Are they Blu-rays or DVDs?
They're DVDs, because this one was super rare. It's
okay.
So, and she didn't get that. She was like, I don't care. You can find it anywhere. Okay, so, because like I said, I'm a big fan. So
wait, real quick. Do you subscribe to, do you have Prime and HBO and all these things also?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. I got all that.
I have
shit.
the same problem. Like I have Disney Plus, but I own every Marvel movie, so it's like
and it's like so I bought some indie actor studios because they're really hard to find, and there's some that I can't find, and I really I would love to have the Tom Hanks one because
he's not on YouTube or something.
I try to find it and you can't find it. You can't because he starts crying when he's talking about Philadelphia, and it's a great he's talking about Philadelphia because you know what it's about, right?
Yeah, he gets AIDS and
so he's talking about how he he's like, we hired real gay guys that had AIDS, and he goes I watched the movie now, and he goes we had like actors legit were in these scenes, like about 50 of them, and he goes, and they're all gone, and he goes they're right there. He goes, this one guy worked in a noodle factory, had his oxygen the whole time, and he starts crying on stage, and it's just like, fuck, dude, it's like it's funny to see an actor like all of a sudden you do have a really much. You're not always on, because I was always wondering about are you on all the time? Are you, because you're very aware of what you're, because that's your job as an actor, is to be aware of everything that you're doing and exuding, your movements, your tone of your speech, what you're saying, and that's what I like about stand-up. I feel is kind of the same way, because we're pretty much stand-up is it's the highest form of manipulation ever. You have to manipulate a whole room of complete strangers to think like you. For 30 minutes or 40 minutes, an hour.
I don't even think about it that way, because if I do, I think that it puts too much on me. Like I'm like, oh shit, now I'm like this, like a Mussolini or something. I'm like, I just try to think of something that's funny, and then I'm like, that's good. Like if it makes them laugh, cool.
But that's what I like about stand-up. Well, because I get really into the stand-up science of it all because of film, because of all this breakdown and stuff like that. So it's like,
well, because films do the same thing, right? You're making people see a perspective, and you have control over all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And when you start to think about all the separate pieces, like costumes and lighting, and then camera placement, lenses, what kind of film stock or digital, like what kind of camera and sensor you're using now, and locations and the actors, and like why this character actor is great, it's like, because this person is just, they look good on film. And I've done sketches and stuff where I'm like, this person sucks. They just don't have anything. They don't
exude, or of just what you need, or charisma, or what you need to come from that character. Even if it's fun though. And like I said, I was working with this other film crew, his name's Jimmy Wren and those guys, and we started a production company, and then and I was like, yeah, man. Well, I'm working with this other crew right now as Paul. What's Paul's last? I can't remember Paul's last name. But Paul used to work at Channel 31. He just had a movie come out too, but so we're all working together. I'm working with this crew as well. And he was like, I want to see your film. And I was like, okay. So he texts me, and I get up out of my seat at the Crest Theater, and I go, get him his ticket. And I'm waiting for him, and I finally get him his ticket. He comes in, and we're just sitting there, and, we're watching all these films, and I'm just waiting for him. I'm just waiting, and I'm so like, dude, this is crazy, man. It's going to happen. Like, this is an accomplishment. It may not be a feature-length film or anything like that, but I get to be on the big screen. This is going to be different.
It's cool, yeah.
Yeah. And then so they get through all the films, and they don't show ours. And I'm like, are we having an intermission? And they go, no, they showed ours first. I missed it completely.
Man.
So I go, I can either consider.
Can you do another showing where I just sit in the theater, please?
Yeah. So I thought in my head, I go, I can either take this as a big blow, because I was really like, oh fuck, man, or I can be like, you know what, that's okay, because it's not only meant to be just one time. It's gonna be another. There's gonna be more times for this to be happening. Yeah. So I was like. And that was 27 years ago. No. No.
And that was
and that was the curtain call for me.
Did you get to do another one?
Another film? Yeah. No, I haven't done another because I got back into stand up.
Oh, okay.
Because
you just start consuming, like it's too much to do both.
Yeah, it was like jack of all trades, but now it's so crazy because it's like. Because I want to be good I want to be a good comedian. I want to be a good comedian.
I want to be a good comedian. I don't know why French came into my head, but
I thought for a minute that was Russian. I was like, to be a good comedian.
Oh yeah.
Well, they make a lift, make joke. But I want to be a good comedian, and for me. Like, I didn't care about being famous. I still don't care about being famous. I just want to be a good stand-up. So
that's the most important. And then like. If you're good at the thing, then it's like opportunity meets talent or whatever that.
Opportunity meets preparation.
Yeah.
And then it becomes that's like the and then
I think we talked about that writing thing. Yeah.
And that's why I'm always like, even like when I do good, I'm just very upset about myself too sometimes, because I was like, I could have done better, or like I was like, dude, you cheated a little bit because you've been saying that joke. You know that they were gonna get that crowd. You're gonna get that crowd with this. You should have tried something else to make it difficult for yourself so you can become sharper and better if this ever arises again somewhere else. So it's like I have this big issue with myself where I'm very not satisfied with anything I do, and I constantly feel fake, and I feel phony, and I constantly like they're just gonna one of these days everyone's gonna figure it out,
Yeah, no, I think imposter syndrome. It's like I don't know. I try to balance it, but it's like last night I did 2 shows in San Francisco. I talked about this before we started, but it was great. Like, but I psyched myself up for it. I'm just like dry. Like the whole day, I was like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna go to San Francisco, and I'm gonna be on Haight Street, Haight-Ashbury. It's famous for hippies, but that has nothing to do with comedy. But still, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And there's gonna be SF comics there, and they're gonna judge me because I'm from Sacramento.
Yeah.
And like there's gonna be cool people. Like Sammy Obeid's gonna be there, and like he's so cool, and I like him. He's funny. Mm-hmm. And then just I need to do good, and then like I actually had like I had to pull over and go to a Safeway and shit because I had like a nervous shit.
Yeah.
And I was just like I had anxiety, and I was like freaking out, and everyone was passing me on the freeway, and I kept imagining like the cars ahead of me were going to slam on their brakes and I was going to crash. So I was just like really freaking out. And then I get there and I calmed down a little bit, but I did the show and I was like, I sort of got into the flow, but the crowd was a little holding back. And I know part of that's because I was holding back, and it was okay. The first show was fine. But then the second show, like after I got through that, and I sort of talked to some of the other I was like, oh yeah, like Shannon Murphy, she's great. I like her. She's nice. Like I see her once a year, but she's great every time I talk to her. And then like Dro Nose was there, and like I don't really know. I've met him like 3 times because I see him like once every 2 years.
What's up, man? What's going on, buddy?
Yeah. Hey man, the Lakers are sick though.
Hey man. Yeah, man.
Yeah. Also, I found out Dro and Shannon are half siblings.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
They were like, you didn't know that? And I was like, no.
Damn, that's dope. That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I thought they were doing a bit, and they're like, no, we are. And I was like, oh, okay, cool.
That's funny.
Yeah. So, but it was just cool. They're like, and then like, oh yeah, they don't hate me just because I don't know. It's like I'm just awkward. I don't know. Yeah. I don't hang out at the mics with them every day.
Yeah.
So, and then the second show went really well, and so like I was happy. Like I feel bad because I was like content with the set. Like I felt like I killed it. But it's like you need that sometimes to feel good. But I still hate the first show, and I still am like I also still hate that I don't have more new jokes.
Yeah.
Like I did some new jokes and they were good, but I'm like,
but they weren't where you wanted to be, or
yeah. And I still feel like I have 15 minutes, but
Mm-hmm.
I need more. And I don't write, but that's because I've been spending time on video stuff lately. Like, I haven't been doing the podcast a ton, but I'm doing it more now because Ellis got me going. Because I saw him when I did the outdoor show here, and he was like, we got to hang out. And I was like, what's the best way to hang out? Let's do a podcast.
Yeah.
So now I've done like 3. This is like the 3rd one I've done. I mean, I didn't stop. I just do them when I feel like it.
Yeah, no, it's just, but the problem about it is it's the consistency, because
Yeah.
this is the model now. The model is consistency, and
disposable
the shit, and the
like,
currency is being seen.
Yeah.
So people need you to constantly keep, like the TikTok stuff like that. Like,
oh my God, yeah.
Like you have to now. It's like people are trained to have something new every 30 seconds.
It's crazy.
Every 30 seconds, you're scrolling and you're figuring out. So now you have to work out. And so we were talking about just a minute ago about how so I got out of film because I was doing stand-up and I started focusing on that.
Yeah.
Because if you have your focus on something, you're gonna get good at it. You're gonna get really good at it.
And
that's
it's
what
hard
I wanted
to do now because you have to be. We're trained to be like scatterbrained.
Yeah.
And it's
if you want to be a successful comic now, it's like you have to be a production company. You have to shoot sketches. You have to have a podcast. You have to do stand-up, and you also have to have a character, just in case Saturday Night Live calls. So it's like, and they want 3 characters, and so matter of fact, you better start writing it down. And also, don't forget about your spec script about the sitcom that you want to have when you get developed, because when you get to LA, they're going to want to see your portfolio and see what else you have, because they want to see the vehicle for your success.
Yeah, and then have a good Twitter, and then meanwhile, when you're on Twitter, don't make any jokes that could be bad, because then you might get canceled 10 years later.
By the way, be a psychic so you can make sure that you don't say any jokes that'll be bad in 10 years from now as well. Because that's another thing too. They keep pushing the line about this joke was acceptable, 5 years ago, and now 10 years later it's not acceptable. And
why always bring up James Gunn?
He had something, right? He had a problem.
Yeah, he had because when he started out, he was like this schlocky horror director. Like he was like a young asshole making really offensive films. He just was making dark, crazy shit. And at the time, who cares? There's an audience for that, and no one's upset. And then I think he was tweeting, he tweeted a bunch of really bad jokes. I think he had jokes about children, something fucked up about kids.
Yeah.
And so at the time, no one cared.
Yeah.
And then he's directed 2 Guardians movies, and then suddenly some asshole blogger digs it up and is like, look what James Gunn did. And then Disney's like, we have to fire you. We don't want to, but media. And so he got fired. And then he bounced back and got to do Suicide Squad. And now he's back on Guardians 3, but it's we had to wait now for Guardians 3 because some dickhead went back and found tweets that are irrelevant. You know what I mean? It's
and on top of that too, you're right. The whole thing of maturity level. Dude, you're talking about somebody that was probably 26.
Yeah, he was in his early mid 20s.
26, 28 or something like that. And it's you're still an idiot. I mean, let's be real. Everyone's still figuring it out. I think Eddie Murphy had this great quote. He says, "You spend your 20s breaking everything, you spend your 30s fixing everything, and then you spend your 40s enjoying it." And it's just what it is, man. It's just being human.
And now that breaking part is recorded daily, everywhere. There's
documented.
A trail.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
If you could find someone's diary from back in the 70s, you're like, it's embarrassing.
Can you imagine if all of your high school thoughts and feelings were on Snapchat and Twitter and TikTok? It's
dude, I don't even do that now. What you call it's so funny because some of these some comics they've really. I remember when it was really kind of foreign on how to. Should we have enough time?
No,
Sorry.
we're good. I mean, the only thing I have to do today is at some point go to my girlfriend's house, but
okay,
it's not. There's no schedule.
No, so
I don't mind if it goes for a while. Okay. I never had. I think the longest I've done is 2 hours.
Okay,
but
I just didn't want to be all in your shit.
No. I just like to know where we're at. Plus, I think the battery's good. I can tell. I don't know.
Okay.
It's recording, so that's important.
You said we'll just edit all this.
No, we'll keep it in.
No, but like you were saying, the documenting and giving out your information or your thought process, on online. I never really I don't do it at all. Like, I may break character because my Facebook and my social media, it's a character. It may say Carlos Rodriguez, but that's a character. Like, I don't talk about my personal life very much. And sometimes I'll even say I'm gonna break character really quick, you know, and I'll talk about like, yo, this is, you know, amateur night. It's a Labor Day or Memorial Day, and you know, don't drink and drive. I'll come pick you up. This is the town I'm in right now. So you know, because like it's I don't want that to happen to anybody.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
But
so
that's not funny. So
But yeah. So, but like I usually just break character. But most of the time, it's just jokes, and on top of that, it's not jokes where it's mainly my goofy thoughts or something that's happening to me where it can't be misconstrued as, oh, you're being an asshole, you're punching down, you're being a piece of shit. And it's like,
see, yeah. So like it's always your setting is always comedians, so that you're not like, no one can mistake it for being something you really mean or whatever.
And then when someone does get upset or someone trying to find something out, I was like, you know, this is not real. This is like what I'm saying and what this is, and where it's coming and the type of thing it's coming as is kind of it's a dumb thought. Like that's the point of it. And it's like I write tons of stupid shit, man, and it's just funny, you know, it's just fun. And then people start understanding too, like, oh, this is where we go to just hear him ramble about, you know, what he thinks the color, you know, green might taste like, you know, or some shit like that. Just some random fucking. I think I said.
Have you posted about that? I missed that one.
just random. Like the other day, one time I go. People say follow your dreams. I don't say. The post is like, people say follow your dreams. I'm like, fuck that, because it's gonna get real weird real quick.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, follow your daydreams. You know, like that's it's a little more. Yeah. And
that's
so
true.
It's just a goofy thought. It's just a goofy joke, and you can't be offended by that. There's no one that can be offended by that. And so it's like, if you think about writing something clean because so when I first started doing stand up at 16, 17, I read this quote in this book, and it was a Bartlett's quote book, but it said, if you make people think, they will hate you, but if you make people think that they are thinking, then they will love you.
Yeah, I've heard that quote a bunch.
Yeah.
You probably said it at a writing session a couple weeks ago, but yeah, I've been hearing that. Yeah.
Love it, man, because it's true. It's completely true. Like when I first started doing stand-up.
It's like, is it inductive reasoning? I don't know. Yeah, there's probably a cooler word for it, but yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, and I remember Tupac saying something to almost to the notion of that, and he was just like, he goes, he says, I might not change the world, but he goes, but I'm gonna spark the mind that will. And I just always was like, yeah, dude, like I totally, and it's almost like a derivative of out of the Bible where it's like, God says, you know, you will do better things in my name, you know, and that's just like, yo, you know, I'm doing this, but I hope that you take this and become better with it.
Like build on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's like when we have the writing sessions or like in our community or in the stand up, like I'm super accessible. Like I said, I'm not famous and I don't care about being famous. I don't care about, you know, I feel like I'm still not shit in stand up, and that's because that's where I'm at. And I was like, so I want people to be better than. I don't want anybody to. I don't look at somebody get on stage and kill and be like, you know, fuck that. I gotta go up there and fuck with his head. So next time when I want to show with him, he doesn't kill better than me. It's like, fuck no. I need you to be better so I can be better. So I can like be like, ooh, he's beasting now.
You can grow off of him instead of trying to hold him down. Or something. Yeah.
I'm not looking to be the best person on the stage right now. I'm looking to be the funniest person to myself. Plus, to where I'm proud of what I've written.
It only helps everyone if someone's good, because like someone who almost never goes to comedy, if they come and see some like Lance Woods Destroy, then they go, fuck, that was so good. I'm going to come back and see someone else.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I think it's like everyone being better helps everyone else. Like what is it? Like all ships rise together. I don't know. I forget
I don't know either. I'm trying to think. I don't know that
like
one.
All ships in a storm. It's something like if one of us does really good, then we all kind of can bring each other up if we have the right attitudes, obviously.
Yeah. And that's why I like I don't ever discredit anybody or like not say people that or don't invite them or don't have them. It's like, hey, everyone's all invited if you want to work or if you want to get better, if you want to advance. I was like, I don't care.
Unless they want to try to plan a show.
That was too funny. Oh man.
Well, it's funny too because you didn't humor it too much. Like you were helping, but then you were also like doing little jabs. Like, okay, let's get back to writing though. Like you were making fun of it in a friendly way. I thought where it was like funny to the rest of us. Like me and Chris were like. I see what you're doing, and she just didn't know what you were doing.
Yeah, because I was trying to be. It was almost like handling hecklers. Because like So if you guys don't know, like Laughs Unlimited is open on Wednesdays, and I come and if you want to shoot skits or do anything, you can come here and do it because she's here opening the club up so people can do stuff.
Just ask, don't just come here.
Yeah, there's like there's a sign up sheet and stuff like that. And
but the writing session is Wednesdays at noon. Right?
At noon, yeah. And so it's a writing session.
Come to that.
Yeah, that I do. But they came in and they were asking production questions, which is fine, and I'll answer them. But after a while, they started asking to like
it took over. Yeah,
it took over, and on top of that, it wasn't even the right questions that you should. If you're producing a show, then you should never have to ask how much time should I give each comic. It's
also like it's easy to figure out how much time you give each comic. You go, how long do you want the show to be?
Yeah.
And the answer is 90 minutes, unless you're like a super producer and you could do something else. But like when you're 90 minutes is like the answer, right?
To a stand-up,
and you just work backwards. Like, how many comics do you have? Okay, divide it evenly. Oh, you have a headliner, they get a little more. Mm-hmm. Take the time out, then divide. Like, it's simple math.
Yeah, if you're supposedly in stand-up, then these things are very known. Because
I mean, if you're doing your first one, like, I get it. You might not know.
But you've been on. But that's the thing, though, too. It's like that means that shows me that you're not a comedian. You're just doing stand-up because it's something that you've seen and it's the new hot thing. And there's a lot of people out here that are doing stand-up right now because it's the hot thing. Like if being a DJ was hot, they'd be a DJ. You know what I'm saying?
They'd buy like a little kit and they'd be like streaming their DJ set.
Yeah. So it's like you get a lot of that, and I'm like, and I'm trying to like I was saying, it was almost like heckling, and so I was answering their questions, but then at the same time I'm like, okay, you guys, this is not what this session is for you to figure out, because right now I'm pretty much being an executive producer of your show. I'm gonna need to get paid now.
Yeah. Well, even then afterwards, you were like, I'll talk to you like after we can talk about this. What we're gonna write right now.
Yeah. Because I wanted, because when we write,
do you have a joke?
yeah. And they were just asking questions or making statements, but because like you guys came and you guys were here for a while, and we were talking about the business and talking about the process of writing, or the process of trying to stay creative and be creative and find out how you are creative. I was doing a lot of talking, but what I was talking about was how to find your way.
It wasn't useless. Like you weren't like I was getting stuff out of it.
Yeah,
I still like haven't tried the tic-tac-toe thing that you do.
Mm-hmm.
But it's my fault. Like I haven't been dedicating time to writing enough because it's like I live like where I live is like I live in my room, and then my room is like where my computer is. So it's like I don't have places to, like, I need like a separate space. And I don't have that.
That's why I did Wednesday. I was like, I have to be out and do here at this show because I don't.
Well, there's no coffee shops right now.
Yeah.
Like I think things are opening up inside again, so it might be possible to go and like have space to do it. And it's cooler. Yeah. Well, it's still hot, but it's gonna get cooler.
Yeah, because the whole talk and the whole dialogue, or that what I was talking about when you were here was, it was like I said, like it's I'm not telling you how to be like me. I'm not telling you how to write like me. I'm saying write like you. And these are things that can maybe help you find yourself faster.
It's sort of like a little structure to follow that might help you. And if it doesn't, then don't use it.
Then don't use it, or use a derivative of it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I'm not telling you that these are. This isn't school where you have to follow this book. So in order for you to pass this test.
Yeah, it's like you showed us this tic-tac-toe where you write something in the middle and then you write all the stuff around it, like their first level thoughts. But I could do a word bubble.
Yeah.
Or something, like it doesn't. Yeah. So.
Or you could, or like you could just write down your
bullet points,
your topic. Yeah. This is my premise, and here are my 3 bullet points that I want to talk about, and and I'll just do it that way.
Yeah, like you're writing a speech in speech class or something.
And the point is, you're writing.
Yes.
That's the point. That's what your job is to do.
You're tricking yourself into writing.
Into writing, because it's such a mundane thing to say, because it's not hot, it's not sexy.
Yeah.
I'm just I'm a writer.
No one appreciates, and that's what sucks about stand-up or creative things too, is you put something out and you've spent all these hours behind the scenes working on it, and then people just like ignore it, or they don't like it or something. Like I just like I was saying earlier, it's like I've been doing podcasts, but I'm also doing like these vlog video things where I film something, like myself talking about something, or me and Anthony K did a couple, my friend Kevin, and we'll like sit and like make fun of something or joke, and then I take the footage and I spend like 2 or 3 weeks like going through it, cutting, adding in, like I'll do cutouts and I'll get video clips and I try to like really produce this thing.
Yeah.
And then I share it on YouTube and I get 15 views. I put it on Instagram and like 14 likes.
Yeah.
You know, maybe 100 views, but a view on Instagram is 3 seconds or whatever. So it's like, did anyone even care that I did it?
Yeah.
But I don't know.
And editing's a whole different beast too,
Yeah.
man. Like, I mean, I got into editing, and I got into editing with Final Cut Pro. I think it was Final Cut. I want to say 6 or 7 when I started fucking with it, and then it changed. Then it changed to the X. It went from like 7 to like 10.
People didn't like that. I remember they said it sucked after they changed it.
Yeah, after I didn't like it either.
And that's when Adobe sort of took over as the number one.
And
Premiere.
I jumped over to the Premiere.
I love Premiere.
Yeah, and it's like, but the problem is you can get lost in editing. You can lose 17 hours of life just working on 3 minutes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm the kind of editor where if I'm working on a project, like I'll put the whole like. My friend Kevin and I we found this guy who does G.I. Joe toy reviews exclusively.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and you can find anything, right?
Yeah,
you know?
that's so funny.
But he has a whole YouTube channel, and he's got way more views and viewers than we do, so we were like hating ourselves for that. But we found this one video he did where he reviewed this one Cobra Cobra like trooper character, and he did it with this little kid, and he's like 7. But the kid, it's like. The kid's wearing a Cobra Commander mask, and then there's like a disclaimer at the beginning that's like, this is my buddy AK. He's 7. He loves my YouTube channel. He wanted to do a review with me, but his dad didn't want his face to be shown. So he's wearing a mask. And we're just like, this is creepy and weird.
Yeah.
So like we filmed ourselves. We made fun of that video. We like watched it, made fun of it. And then afterwards we did a review of my G.I. Joe toys. So like, but that was like 30, 40 minutes of footage that I had to cut into 2 episodes, and then I spent like so long just like going through. And so like I'm editing and I'll edit the first part, but when I stop and I go and I come back like the next day, I have to go through the first part like just for my own head.
Yeah.
Like I have to go through that so that I can continue, so I remember all the callbacks I want to do. So then it takes me longer because I have to go, and then I'm cutting like what I already did because I'm like, that's not good enough.
Yeah.
So it just ends up like.
You know what's fucked up is like when you finish it and then you're like, okay, it's good. And
Yeah.
it's done. And then all of a sudden you don't look at it for another day or 3 and you come back to it, you're like, oh, fuck.
I don't even need this whole section that
Yeah.
I spent 4 hours on. Yes, yeah. Like, this joke isn't even good.
Oh, man. Like, yes. And it's just like, and then it's like, oh, fuck, but I already like say the, where's the rest of the, I already tossed away the whole, palette that I was using.
Yeah.
Because I was like, all right, this is done. I made that mistake so many times where it's like.
I save all my projects. I'll save as a project and make a new, like I'll be like August, and then I'll do like September, and I'll delete shit so that partly so the program runs better, but also just. So I have like the old one. If I need to go back, I can go back to that and see it.
I fucked up so many times where it's like I deleted the whole project file, and I was like, well, now I can't edit it anymore. I have to just edit the
existing
file.
one.
Yeah.
But you can't go into the individual pieces that you.
Nope.
So you can't like boost the audio there. You have to like cut it, and then you're boosting the whole audio instead of just the sound effect you put in.
It's so fucked up.
Yeah.
It's we're hella nerding out on editing.
Yeah.
But it's just it's a
I
whole
don't care.
it's a whole different beast, man.
Yeah.
But it's like, and that's the thing that I like about creatives, because I just call it creatives, because it's like, when you're a creative,
you like to make stuff.
everything or anything or performing or doing or because it's like with you, we both do editing, and you do the filming, and you do vlogs, and you do stand up and stuff like that. It's just jack of all trades type of shit,
Yeah.
But like if you just
I feel a little too spread out, but
yeah, and so that's why I was like, I made the decision early on, because like I said, I liked film, I love film, and I want to make films, and I was like, but I don't have the. I felt that on film there's too many things that can happen to make a shitty project, and I don't like that.
And you rely on too many people.
Yeah.
And stand up is very much like it's all on you.
Boom, it's all me.
But when you start, I have this problem all the time. I want like I'm working on I've worked with like 3 different people now. We're making like a TV show, and I hate saying that phrase because I'm like, it sounds like I'm doing a thing. Like, no, I'm just trying to make a show, and I want to make something and hopefully sell it. I have no idea if it's gonna work.
Yeah.
I have an idea, and we're trying to do it. We wrote like a outline for 10 episodes. It's like a half-hour comedy type of show.
Yeah.
And we have like 3.5 scripts, but they need editing. But trying to even get like these, we're trying to film like these little sketch vignette type of like shorts to get the tone and the feel of the show down. And we wrote separate scripts that aren't even like the episodes, like it's just stuff that we can shoot so that we can practice like everyone, but just trying to schedule, find a location.
Yeah.
And then it's like I have like 4 different people that need to be available for the next one. And so one of them is like she teaches at the Comedy Spot. She has a kid.
Yeah.
I think she has a job also. And then there's like JR was going to be in it. So he actually dropped out because he's so busy, you know. But he wasn't busy, so he's like, I'll do it. And I was like, listen, like if we're doing this, I need you to be available. So like, and again, like it's no hard feelings, but it's like he had to drop out because I can't try, like he's not gonna be able to do it. So I had to find someone else. And then so it's just. You never get anything done because you need people to help you do it.
Yeah, that's what was like. I go, well, that's why I was like, well, I'll come back to film later because I was like, because when I come back to film,
you might know more people who can do the different parts.
Yeah, and that are more dedicated
like
to
me.
Those things. Yeah, that are more dedicated to it. Yeah, like you said, like because you'll have more laser focus on it. So like and because like I play the guitar and I sing and I fucking do stand up and the film and stuff like that. But I was like, yo, like my guitar playing and my piano playing has suffered a lot. I love doing it. I like playing it. But it's suffered so much because I've been doing stand-up. Everything has suffered so much because of stand-up, which is okay because I already made that
important one.
I made that agreement with myself. Like, hey, I'm not gonna have a girl. I'm not gonna have a relationship. I'm not gonna
maybe.
unless maybe, but I doubt that.
Close to dying. I have no more though. We can change it.
Okay. But I was gonna say I've given up drinking and drugs because I wanted to do this good to a point.
Yeah, because it distracts you too much if you do those things. Yeah.
Partying is like it's so funny because people come into stand-up because they're like, oh, this is what it is. It's a party and we hang out and blah 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 blah. And it's like, yeah, man, that's great, but that's not all that it's about because there's a lot of work that goes into it if you want to get work and be paid for it and whatnot. I want to be proud of the product that I make. I may be hard on myself when I get off stage, but I know that the product isn't bad. Like I'm not being hacky, but I just constantly always want to be better, and I always want to move that mark.
Yeah.
But like I was saying though, so everything else has suffered. Like but like the piano playing and the guitar playing, I play at the house by myself and I have a good time.
Yeah, that's more just for you. It's like a thing you do. Like instead of video games, you're playing a piano, right?
Yeah, and I loved video games too. But that was the thing that was taking time for me too because
so you quit video games.
Yeah, because it started because I started realizing this about video games. It's not because I'm not in like a tournament league. If it was making me money or doing something advancing me, then I would be in it. But other than that, like all I'm doing is prestiging up 17 times, and then the new game comes out, and now I'm back to square one. Yeah, and there's
it's just keeping you busy.
Yeah, it's a time suck right now for me. And I was like, I could be writing another script. I can be writing a better joke. I can be doing this. I can be, and I was like, I can even, matter of fact, I can go back and playing guitar and go back or playing piano. Where it's like, that may not. One of these days, I might be on stage and there's a piano sitting there, and I'm like, "Oh, check this out! I could do this." Blah blah blah. And start fucking around. Yeah, and people are like, "What the fuck?" Because there's a lot of things.
Is that Galifianakis?
Yeah, because there's a lot of things that I don't do on stage that I can do because I've been so focused on being a better writer or a better performer. Like I don't
pause you because I want to change the battery. Sorry, We're back. I just had to change the batteries. But yeah, you were talking about doing all this stuff, playing the piano, and you.
Because I just think that it's cool because one of these days it might become something like that can come in handy.
To enhance the thing you mostly do.
Yeah, as opposed to playing video games. It's like, it's like I'm on stage.
You could start Twitch streaming though.
Yeah, that's possible.
I thought about, like, I have an Elgato, the little thing you use to stream, but I tried to use it the other day and the sound wasn't working. Like I was going to stream The Witcher, and I started playing it, and when it was plugged in, The Witcher, like the dial, it was really weird because some of the sound effects were working, but then like the dialogue wasn't coming through. So it was almost like the game was having an issue with it. Like it was just strange because to me it's like if it's not working, it should be all or nothing. Like all the sound isn't working. Yeah. But it's like it was just picking and choosing what wasn't working within the game. It was very strange. But I do feel like I feel like when I'm playing games, like I wish that it should be. I want it to be like furthering somehow like my presence online. Like I'm playing, so you can watch me do this. So I'm not. Yeah. I don't feel like I'm wasting my time.
Do you have a Twitch channel?
No, I mean I have one, but I don't use it.
Yeah, because I did a Twitch show maybe 4 years ago now. Oh, it has to be 4 years because it was the election.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because but then I did the Kool-Aid show. What was it? The sour Kool-Aid show.
Is it local? Obviously.
It was a dude up in Oregon.
Oh, okay.
And it was over in I want to say Newport Beach or Newport Bay or something up there on the coast. And I remember someone telling me because I was doing a casino run. I was doing Pat Wilson's run up there. And they go, yeah, it's a Tuesday night. You should ask him if you could do it. So I shot him on Twitter. I was like, hey, man, I'm a comic. I'm running around here. You have a room. And he was like, yeah, I got a room. And I was like, cool. I'll come out. And he goes, okay. And so I get to the address that he sends me to, and it's a house. But I'm like, I heard a room. I was like, I heard that you had a room. But I knock on the door, and he opens the door. He's like, oh, okay, come on, let's go. We'll take off. And I was like, oh, okay, we're going to the comedy room or whatever. But he walked to his garage.
And that's where he was streaming?
And that's where he was streaming. I didn't know that it was a streaming thing. I thought it was just a show that he had, and I was going to be on a show at a bar. But
like stand-up.
I thought, stand-up.
Wait, was he streaming the stand-up?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was going to be like video, like you played COD with him or something.
Well, that's what it was, too, as well. So what happened was he goes, so do you know what this is? And I go, no, I thought I'm doing stand-up. I thought I was doing a show. And he was like, yo, you are. He goes, I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to probably do a show for the more people than you've ever done in your life. And I go, what? And he goes, well, this is what it is. He goes, my show runs from 6 o'clock to 12 midnight. He goes, we'll play games. We'll talk movies. I heard you like movies. I go, yeah. He goes, it's kind of like a podcast. We'll just talk movies, play games. He goes, they tip us as we play video games. We'll play whatever the games you want. He goes, I got every single game that you can ever think of, every system. And I go, okay. And he goes, we'll talk and hang out. People will tip us as we play games. He goes, I'll already give you $200. He goes,
wow.
You'll do a 30-minute set. He goes, you could do it however long you want to. You could do 10 minutes now, 10 minutes another time, 10 minutes. And he goes, you're going to do it in the corner. There's a green screen, and there was all stuff. And I go, okay. And he goes, from when you're here to whatever time you want to leave, you can stay until midnight. Whatever they tip us while you're here, he goes, you can keep it. And I go, all right. And so I went. I did this. We were playing James Bond GoldenEye. We were playing Call of Duty. We were
playing, on a 64?
Yeah.
Wow.
We were playing all this stuff. And
he has all these things plugged in and set up?
Yeah. I was playing Rygar off Nintendo from way back in the day. I was playing all kinds of shit. And then we're just talking shit. And I was doing the stand-up. And it was crazy because I seen the numbers of his viewers. It was like, he's like going to start the show up. So he clicks it on. There was like, 1,000 people in there. And then all of a sudden it jumped to like 10. And then it jumped to 12. And then the 36, and then it was like 67, and I was like, "The fuck, man!" And so I walked out. I walked out with like about a good, I think it was, I want to say close to $1,200 altogether.
Wow.
But I was like,
can I come back every week?
Yeah, but I only stood from like 6 to 8 because I was just like, this is. After a while, I was like, I gotta get back.
Yeah, that's a sick. You're like putting in a work day.
Yeah, and I was
that's
like,
crazy.
I was thinking about staying for the whole 12 or the whole fucking all the way to 12, but I was like, yeah.
But he was cool with you leaving early, like
he was like, all right, man, thanks for coming out, and and then he goes back to his Twitch thing and having fun. I was like, oh shit, that's crazy.
Wow.
Now, like something like that where I could focus on that'd be great. Like, and I know that they give scholarships now for video games and stuff like that at some places. So that's.
Oh yeah. Oh, you mean like for esports?
Yeah, and stuff like that. Like, well, there's some colleges that have like they do that now, where it's like.
Do you mean esports or do you mean making games?
No, I mean like playing games.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah. I didn't know they were doing that.
Yeah, they were doing that now, and then and it's and some companies are even like having like how they have softball teams, back in the day. Now they're having like Call of Duty teams against other rival companies and whatnot. And so
like in The Office.
Yeah.
They do that in like season 2 as like team building.
Yeah,
I love that episode. And Jim's just like.
That's actually true. That's actually they would do that. The writers' room would do that. They would fight. They would play each other. They go, "We got to put this in an episode."
Yeah.
So they wrote it into an episode. I thought that was really interesting, and it's so funny because Andy's so hilarious. So he says, "Why are you using a sniper rifle in quarantine?" He was like, "Are you serious?
Yeah,
I'm going to murder you. I'm going to actually kill you."
My favorite Andy line it's like the one I
Saboteur.
remember. Yeah. I want to rewatch The Office because I never watched the last couple seasons. and I know it's amazing, but it's I hate that like streaming hole you get down where you just watch like 5 or 6 in a row and you feel bad that you've sat there that long. But
I've watched all of them.
I know.
And Schitt's Creek too. And I've watched.
I couldn't get into that, but I need to. I know
it.
I know it's good.
But what'd you say about The Office? You said would you like a favorite line of Andy's?
There's one where they're joking about Phyllis somehow, like the joke is like, oh, we're going to get Phyllis. We're going to strangle her because she did something wrong or something.
Yeah.
He goes, and then Andy comes in and cuts her head off with a chainsaw. Ringing. Like,
that's so fucking funny.
Everyone's quiet.
Yeah. Because they're...
does the most.
Someone's recording the meeting on for Michael because he's gone or something like that. So they're recording it. And
and they're saying what's happening.
Yeah.
Right.
And Jim was like, is that a Muppet baby tattoo on your thing, or is that an animal Karen? And then it's like, and then Andy just ruins it. He just fucking ruins it, dude.
He's just that guy that gets way too excited but doesn't think about what he's gonna say, and he just goes, heighten it.
There's this one where he goes, where Will Ferrell's in it, and when
they're trying to find a new Michael, right?
Yeah, and he points to the because Andy's the funny man, and he's like, he's the funny man in the office. You're a funny man. Got a joke for me, funny man? And he goes, yeah. He goes, what do African Americans call? and then someone calls over Will, and he takes off. He goes, hold that thought, buddy. I'll be right with you. And he goes off, and then all of a sudden, Greg Robinson comes out. Daryl, he goes, finish the joke, Andy. Yeah. What do African Americans call? And then he goes, I don't know, man. Help me out. it was so genuine. He's like, I don't know. I thought that was so fucking funny.
That show is so genuinely good.
Yeah.
I like Parks and Rec too, but...
Yeah, I watched Parks and Rec. I was checking that out too. And I didn't finish the last couple seasons.
That one I did see the whole thing. I liked it. Some people are like... I think people always want to hate the last season because it's hard to end a show. Mm-hmm. But I thought they did a really good job. Like, they made it sweet and nice, but it was still really funny. And they kind of gave everybody, like, a good send-off. Because they did, like, a thing, I think, where they jumped to the future, like, 30 years to show you. Or it was something like that.
That's
and I thought it was cool.
Too.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
They do it like a year later. Like
it's almost
things.
like, don't do any more after this. Like we're going to show you how they are later so that you know what happens.
Yeah. And like that's like how they did with the Gotham as well. I don't know if you've seen Gotham.
I couldn't do that show because when they started it, they go, yeah, so Batman's never showing up until the last episode. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I'm out. I don't care. I don't give a fuck about Commissioner Gordon that much. Like, I like the OC, but I don't need to watch this guy be Commissioner Gordon. You know?
Yeah. I got into it by accident.
I saw the clip at the end when Batman shows up. I watched it online. I was like, that's all I needed to see.
Yeah.
The 30 seconds of him standing on a rooftop looking out.
I didn't realize I was such a Batman nut. A Bat fan. Because I watched it, but I didn't watch it as it came out.
Oh, you watched it like later?
I watched it later. Like I was like,
was it good? Did you like it?
I remember when I watched it on Fox really quick when it first came out, and I was like, oh, but I'm too busy because I'm comic, and so it's like I'm out at night. I can't watch television like that.
Yeah, and it wasn't really streamed. When it started, it was still kind of like you had to. Appointment television.
Yeah.
Now things are on Hulu or something right away.
And I had to find it, and then also when Netflix picked it up, I was like, okay, well now it's accessible. Now we're in season 3 or 4. All right, cool. And I went through it, and I was like, I go, oh, it's interesting. I see this thing, and I was like, and I was just kind of in the mood for that type of genre.
Yeah, because it's kind of like a cop show, right?
Yeah,
a little
old-timey kind of like, and it's got this. It manipulates time because there's cell phones, but they're all old cars, and they wear top hats and the type of things.
It's Gotham.
Yeah, it's Gotham. So it's like it was really interesting.
Yeah.
And then after I got done with it, I was like, oh, I'm going back to the Batman. So I went and rewatched Nolan's Batmans. Uh-huh. And
what do you think about the trailer for the new one?
I'm all right.
I'm so excited, dude.
I was just like, he's just too. It was so funny because I go, he looks really way too emo for me.
Oh.
And someone was like,
he's just young.
Batman is emo. What are you talking about? And I'm like, but like. Batman's not emo. Batman is gothic or goth. Like it's just dark.
Yeah.
But emo's like.
You never seen Batman in an alley smoking a cigarette and hating on the cheerleaders?
Yeah. You never see hating his. He didn't hate his father. He likes his father. You know what I'm saying? Like this dude is just so emoed out. And I was like, and then someone had said
he becomes a vampire in the comics. You know, like there's a whole storyline.
Oh really?
So he's definitely goth.
It's so funny because someone goes, they go, yeah, the problem. They go, he's wearing eyeliner. They go, all Batman fans wear eyeliner. And he's like, yeah, but Patterson, he's liking it. That's the problem.
It's not just for utility. It's like he likes the style.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm just like, I don't know. I really wanted to see. I wanted to see what. I liked Affleck. I didn't mind him. People were like really hating on him super quick. As a matter of fact, he was the best thing out of all the even the Justice Leagues and stuff like that. Like
you don't like Gal Gadot?
She's cool. She's cool. I like her. Yeah.
Okay.
She's pretty and she's hot.
I feel like they got a good cast. They just didn't get the tone right.
Yeah.
Because I think they were trying so hard to stay away from Marvel that they leaned really hard into dark edginess but that's not DC. Like especially if you watch those cartoon shows. I don't know if you've seen those, like the Justice League show and like even the original Batman cartoon.
I remember the animated series, the Batman animated series.
That's one of the best cartoon shows ever made.
Dude, I was rewatching it the other day. I had posted
so
it
good.
on my little Instagram feed, and then people were like, "Where's it at?" And I go, "I have it. My friend lets me use his Plex, where it's like I got all his whole." Library.
I have the DVDs, I think. They're in my storage,
so
but
good.
I have them, yeah.
It's so good, man. And that's why...
They drew it on black paper to make it darker.
Really?
Yes.
See, that's why I like Ben Affleck as Batman, because his body frame and build looked like that guy.
That cartoon? Yeah.
And I was like, oh, and I like how
he has the same square jaw that makes no sense.
and very, very just almost monotone. Just
I don't like that part. I watched Justice League again recently.
Oh yeah, because I'm waiting for the Snyder one. Huh?
I hated his acting, dude. I don't like it. He's just not doing enough.
Pretentious, too pompous.
He's just very monotone.
Yeah.
And I don't know, Christian Bale struck a good balance for me, and that's why I like Robert Pattinson, because I think there's just he's got more going on in his face. He's a good actor. Everyone goes Twilight guy, but he has other films. That's not the only. He did those for the money. He didn't do them because that's what he does. It's like
I think he showed. I think he's getting a lot of work because of he's taking that almost that Leonardo DiCaprio route.
Yeah.
Or how you could.
He started as a heartthrob and now he's becoming an actor.
Yeah. Let me do all these low independent, out of character films.
Yeah, like Cosmopolis and whatever the other.
The Lighthouse, Good Time.
The Lighthouse.
Yeah, did you see it?
Yeah.
I didn't watch it. I was like, I know what this is.
Yeah. Well, and what sucks about it is if you watch the director Robert Eggers, he made The Witch. Have you seen that?
And Midsommar or some shit like that too.
No, that's Ari Aster.
Oh, okay.
That's Midsommar is that's the Hereditary guy.
Oh, that's right.
But have you seen The Witch?
No, I didn't want to see it.
That movie well, I'm not a big horror guy, so if I see something that's the scariest of I'm just I don't know, I'm more I'm freaked out by this thing because a lot of I don't like when I go home later and I'm trying to sleep or something and I'm thinking about it and I stay up and I have to leave my TV on so I have a nightlight, because I can't just have the darkness. But The Witch is The Witch is super good. I don't know if I'll ever see it again because it creeped me the fuck out.
Yeah.
But it's really good. The guy who made it is he's one of those people who immerses himself in the time period. So he read a bunch of books and history, and he got into specific towns and what went on there in the 1600s and so I think he wrote this script and all the dialogue is literally Old English. It's
really?
How they would have spoken back then.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of wouldest thou and shit like that. So if you watch it, it's hard to keep up. You might even want to turn on the subtitles.
Yeah.
But it is so unsettling, at least for me. I thought it was really creepy and well done. And the atmosphere is brilliant.
It just at the time when it came out, I was I wasn't in the mood for something slow. Because
it's good.
As soon as I see the trailer, I go,
Yeah.
"Oh, I know what this is." Because, like I said, I see a trailer. I was like, "I know what this is." It's gonna be good, but I don't feel like doing that right now. I don't feel like taking that long walk.
You're not in the mood for those things sometimes. Yeah, I've missed movies that are big because I wasn't in the mood for them.
Yeah, and plus the Blair Witch Project was so good for me when I was a kid.
I don't think it's anything like that.
I didn't know that it was when it first came out. It wasn't revealed that it was fake. So
everyone thought it was real.
Yeah, for the first 3 months of the film, everyone was like, "Oh, this is," because it was the first found footage film that anybody ever.
And the internet wasn't what it was, so you couldn't just Google things and find, you're just it was like when the X-Files was on TV. That stuff was possible because it was they would go town to town kind of for these cases, and it was just it's possible that there's a monster here because.
Yeah.
We don't know. Things are isolated and separate.
I rewatched that not too long ago. That was clear. That was great.
I'd never seen it, so I started watching them, and I stopped. I just got to season 6, and I want to finish. I will finish it. It's just it's hard to like keep going sometimes.
Yeah.
But anyways, so The Witch is really good. It has a good ending, I think. Like, I feel like it's not just the journey. There's like an ending where you're like, oh shit, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But then The Lighthouse, it's like it literally just kind of ends. So it's like it's more about the descent into madness. Like the journey is the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So if you watch it, don't expect like some cool, crazy big ending with a payoff. It's more like it just kind of ends and you're like, oh, okay. Like, I mean, it has an ending, but
because sometimes I know I'll see movies and I'm like, dude, they're just jerking themselves off. Like, I'm like, dude, this is you're just being fucking different film, avant-garde, and you gotta, you have to.
It's a little that, especially with the aspect ratio. Like, like I know the reason for why they did it, but it made me mad because I'm like, but this imagery is so beautiful. Like, I want to see like the whole frame.
Yeah.
And they did the square frame on purpose because part of it is like,
Confined.
they're in that space, and it makes them, to fit them both in the frame, they have to be close. So, and it's these two men like going crazy together,
Yeah.
So it's like, it's really weird. It's like funny too. Like there's like hilarious stuff in it, and then it's also just like really creepy and dark and weird and.
Yeah, so he's getting a lot of work because of those films. That's because of that stuff. And Zac Efron tried to do the same thing, but it didn't work for him.
What did he do that was like that?
He did like I think it was like Water for Chocolate or some shit like that, like Elephants Don't Forget or something like that. And then he did he tried to do all these like serious roles. Like I think he even was like a doctor in Parkland at one point. This movie called Parkland. I don't know if you've seen Parkland. Parkland was a movie about John F. Kennedy getting shot, and then it's all about being at that hospital, Parkland, when John F. Kennedy comes in, and it's actually a continuation, and it's like it kind of follows the brother of Lee Harvey Oswald, and how he had to deal with the world hating his last name because he's associated with his brother, and how they wouldn't bury him, and how all this other stuff too. So it's an interesting flick.
It's like, no, I'm related to the Penguin from Batman, not this guy.
And then the guy, who was in the guy that plays the brother? He's a really good actor. He's super underrated, and I like him a lot. And I forget his name, and I feel so bad. But he was in
Parkland.
He was in Iron Man 3, and he's one of the super soldiers that gets all fucking hot and stuff like that. And
is it the cool guy that's kind of walks? Yeah, he's like barefoot at one point. He's the one that blows up Jon Favreau, right?
Yeah. Him.
Or he sets off the guy who blows up.
Yeah, him.
Yeah, I know.
I like that guy. That guy's a really good actor. Him, and there's another dude too that's always a good actor that gets overlooked is the guy that's in Silver Lining Playbook that plays Bradley Cooper's brother. Like what you call it? I don't know if you know that guy.
I saw that movie. I can't remember.
Dude, that movie's a really good flick, dude.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
I liked it. It was such a.
It's a David O. Russell, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that guy. You ever see the? You know what I love doing? Going on YouTube and finding like actor and director meltdowns. That's a fun thing to do.
Oh, okay.
And he has a meltdown where he goes off on Lily Thompson.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Yeah.
That was a big thing for a while.
And Christian Bale went off on someone one time.
Terminator Salvation, yeah.
Yeah, and I think Dennis Quaid went off on someone just recently. And they're just amazing, man, when people just go off. When it's like, having a bad day at the office. Everyone's human.
And it just... Yeah, I never get on the train of like, fuck this guy. It's always like, like, I'm sure there was reasons. Like... They don't, if they do it all the time, then they're an asshole. But it's like if it's just the one time, then they were just stressed. I don't know. Like it happens.
Let it blow.
Maybe
it's all right.
Maybe they're having trouble with their girlfriend or wife or boyfriend. I don't know. But it's like something was going on.
I know. They did you see? So I with the because he also did the Good Time, right? And I watched that. And
it's on my list. Yeah, I haven't seen that yet.
I started. Did they people for something like once again like. Hollywood is really liking those brother directors. Are there's two brothers that directed because they did Good Time and they did. Are
they the Safdie brothers? Is it the guys who did
Jim.
Uncut Gems?
Yeah,
I like that movie.
It's I watched it. I'm a gambler, so it's like I enjoyed it for a different reason. But then
you're like, I relate to this.
Yeah,
it's like, no, man, come on, the Knicks, they're gonna do it,
dude. As soon as he goes, oh, because they're gonna the tip off. Whoever he bet on the tip off, I know that feeling because one time, okay, name drop. One time it was me and Brent Ernst, and we were did the San Jose Improv, and we were gonna go down. We were going back to LA, and on the way. We get to the Super Bowl. It's Super Bowl Sunday. So we're like, we got to make it back to L.A. We didn't make it. We got to Tejon. right before you get to the Grapevine, up to the mountain.
Oh, yeah.
So we're like there, and we're like, hey, let's just pull off and watch the game right here. So I was like, all right, so we pull off, and as I'm on my phone, and he's like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm betting on the game. And he goes, all right. And then so as I'm watching the game, the Super Bowl, I'm like, I go, the national anthem stops, and I look at my phone, and I go, fuck. And he goes, what? And I go, I took the over under 2 minutes and 10 seconds for the national anthem. He goes, you bet on the national anthem? I go, yeah. I bet on the length. And then all of a sudden they did the coin
I didn't
flip.
know you could do that.
Yeah, they did the coin flip, and then it hit tails, and I go, fuck. And he goes, what? He goes, don't tell me you bet on the coin flip. I go, I bet on the coin flip. And he goes, how much are you down right now? And I go, I'm down 400. He goes, there's not even a play yet. And I was like, yeah, I know.
No whistles have been blown.
Dude, I lost hella money on that game because then I took the Falcons because it was Falcons versus the Patriots, and they were up, and that's the one they blew the whole big ass lead. Dude, that cleaned me out. I pretty much lost almost all my paycheck from the San Jose Improv, but it was fun. And then
it was worth it as you mess your shirt up.
then we were talking about that shit though, man. That was so we're watching the Uncut Gems, and as I'm watching it, him and when he talks about the tip off, and it's so funny because at one point in the movie he goes, he tells the guys, he was like, if that was, it would have been all over if that was bad, because that first bet it'll clean out your next bet. So because he had a parlay going, it had to be a tip off, it had to be this, and it had to be that, and it had to be this in order to come out with the big thing. The parlay is the greatest thing. That's what I liked about Silver Lining Playbook when Robert De Niro tries to get he was like, let's do double or nothing. And he goes, no, we should do a parlay. He goes, I'm not gonna take your money, but I do like the idea of a parlay. And then they had to explain what a parlay is, which is all these other bets have to come in order for you to win the big bet. But
wow, it's just like, it's just making it harder. Like, it's already, you don't know what's going to happen, and then it's just like,
the stakes go up. I got a parlay going on right now where I put $20 down.
On how long this podcast goes?
Yeah. It's a football parlay for tomorrow, and it's like, I think it's a 5-game parlay. So five teams have to they have to come in. Some games I'm giving away 7 points, some games I'm getting 5 points, but it's $20 to win. I think it was like $600. So I mean, because the odds get higher.
It's not that much to put in, and if you win, it's like cool. But if you lose, you're like, oh, I had some fun. Yeah, I could see. It's like buying a movie ticket, except you could get something back.
Yeah. And so I remember when I watched the Uncut Gems in the theater. I was at that tower, and I started getting all juiced up.
Get your phone out and start gambling.
Dude, I looked and I go, the Kings play in about 13 minutes, and I was like, what is the? And so I started looking, and I seen that they were playing the Memphis Grizzlies, I think it was, and it was just recently.
Yeah.
And I remember looking, and I was like, first quarter, because I'll bet on the first quarter. I'm a comic. I like instant gratification. I'm an addict. I'm an alcoholic. I want instant gratification. So I don't want to wait a whole game. I look at the first quarter bet. So I'm like, what is going on in the first quarter? And they gave the Kings 2 points, plus 2 points, and I was like, okay. I threw $100 down while I'm in the movie theater, and I'm just sitting there watching the game, watching this game, watching that game, and I was getting excited. I walked out the movie theater though. I made $100 just because I was fucking around because I was bored.
Wow.
But
yeah. That's what keeps you going too. It's like you win sometimes. I understand how Vegas works. I don't know. Like, they let you win. I've played like slots a couple times, and eventually you'll win, and you'll be like, oh, it's possible.
Yeah.
So it just keeps you going.
But then again, like, so that's different
than this. Than
what you're doing,
though.
like, especially with sports betting. It's like it's a calculated risk. You want to make it as into your beneficial character as. I'm sorry. I'm stumbling all over because I'm so excited about this shit. You're trying, because people gamble, just like you've seen Rounders, right?
Dude, it's another film hole. I know.
Oh my God.
I know. I haven't seen Boiler Room. I haven't seen Rounders. I haven't seen. It's been a while since I don't know. I'm just naming '90s movies now.
But Rounders is really good. I mean, Edward Norton's great, and Matt Damon. But at one point, because he's a poker player, and his girlfriend doesn't like it, whatnot, and she goes, she doesn't understand. She thinks that she looks at it as if I'm gambling. I'm playing poker. I'm playing the other player. It's a skill. It's a fucking skill. Yeah. And it's like, that's how you have to look at it when you sports bet. I mean, it does sound like I'm trying to reason it about being the degenerate, but no, it's true. You have to study things and figure out what gives you the best chances to win.
Yeah. The
problem was with right now that's happening with this COVID stuff and with sports, there's not a lot of traveling going on. So back in the day, or back when I would look at basketball, And I'm like, because they used to do like 4 games in a night, or 4 back-to-backs, but ever since Kermit Washington punched Rudy Janovic in the it's called the punch, and it changed the course of both of their careers. This dude, it's back in the 70s, and Kermit runs up to help another one of his basketball players Rudy runs up to come help out one of his players that are already in a scuffle, and fucking Kermit just fucking cracks him. But he was running towards it, running towards the punch, it broke half of his face. So the NBA went through this whole thing where it's like, we can never have
70s?
this. Yeah, they're like, we can never have this happen again. So what they started doing is, you can't have that many back-to-backs at a night because they might fuck with people's heads being on the road, traveling, all this and that. So there's only like back-to-backs every 2 nights, and then you have to have a night off, and then you travel to another thing back-to-backs. So that's the thing you do. Be like, oh, this team is on the road, and they've been on the road now. This is the 4th night out, and they've already had 2 back-to-backs. So right now they're probably tired. And how many points are they getting?
That makes sense, because that's like why in baseball you can have like 4 games in a row because you play the same team 4 times in the same city. Okay, sorry.
No.
I just kind of wondered. I'm like, I mean, I don't know. I was just like, why does there have to be so many breaks? When I was like a big Kings fan for a while, because my dreams weren't destroyed by the NBA yet.
Yeah.
So like, I just was super into it. And I'd be like, why is there like days off? I want to watch games every night. And
that's why.
'cause traveling is hard.
And now we know as well, because we travel as much and know what it's like to be in a confined space and be by yourself and in your head. Yeah. So you take those into considerations. Then you also take that you're the visiting team, so they're like, they're not in the comforts of their homes or whatnot. Then you find out who has injuries. You find out actually how these teams match up against each other and yada yada yada, and how this team doesn't just do, for some reason they don't do well in this arena.
Yeah. Or like in Denver, it's a mile high, so everyone's like tired except for the home team.
Yeah. So it's like there's all these little things that you could figure out and start, skewing your bet and figuring it out. And then there's some places where it's like they'll give you points, and then you can buy more points or extra and whatnot. And the odds are good, and you just have to spend time to figure it out, and it can happen. But the problem is, so I was in Vegas, and we're talking with the bookmaker for the Mandalay Bay.
Oh, wow.
And he was talking about how he says, see, we make our money off the parlays. It's a sucker's bet. And I'm just fucking around there right now on mine. It's only $20, but he's like, it's a sucker's bet. Like, because some people go and they'll do
so much has to happen for it to work. Yeah. So, like, why would you win?
So some people go and they put like $500 down on a parlay. Like, if that hits, you will get 17 to 20 grand. But that's so rare that they'll like, we'll take that chance, because they got the clout to do it. So he's like, that's the sucker's bet. We make all our money off those bets. He goes, we lose more money on the straight up bets. He goes, so my advice to you is always do your homework and put the straight up bet. He goes, it's not, in my words though, it's not sexy to bet just one game straight up. It's better to like stress on all these other games.
But if you were to make it a job, like your job's not sexy.
Yeah.
Like again, it's like spending all that time at home writing and editing your video, right? Like that's not sexy.
No.
You're creating a thing later. So yeah, it's like the same idea. It's like you're putting in work.
Yeah.
It's like the stock market too. Like you do better if you understand what companies are doing what, and when they're gonna like IPO, or like when they have a new product coming, and you could kind of like, okay, well Tesla's gonna have battery day. Maybe they'll go up today because they have battery day. But I mean, I don't think they did.
No, they went down. Yeah, it's so funny. Because we started getting into stock and shit too, man. Yeah. And I was very like, because it's another thing too, man. This whole stand up went to shit for a minute. Everything paused, and not everything went to shit, but everything paused. So it's like, being creative is also, I want to say, like, in other words, is a hustler. Because that's what you do. You hustle your thought process. You hustle your creative ability in order to manufacture something out of thin air in order for someone to want to buy it or want to keep you in business.
Yeah.
Which is a crazy entrepreneurial spirit that I didn't even know I had. It's just something that I grew up with or just figured, and then because I started realizing like, oh man, like you too, like it's like I didn't want to go to school wasn't for me. I remember I went back to college, and I'm like, this is not for me. This is not my path.
I did it because my parents made me. Yeah. And it made them happy. And like, I always wanted to go to film school. And they were like, no, you have to get something marketable.
Yeah, right.
So then I just did marketing.
Same thing. I wanted to go to the New York Film School so bad. I wanted to do all that, and they were like, no. And then after a while, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna do whatever I want. Because now I was like, I'm 18. I don't live in the house. Like now, I don't need their approval. Anything like.
It took me a lot longer to do that, but I lived at my dad's house for a long time. So
yeah.
Now he's dead. So no.
But it's like, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I like to just throw it in there as it makes me laugh, and everyone's just like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, it's like I didn't know that, but it's really good, man, because like you get this whole like I said, this entrepreneur idea, and it all stopped, but now it's like it doesn't stop. My hustle doesn't stop though. The creativity of how to generate more income or to generate the things I want to do.
Yeah.
So I was like,
I wish I had the income part, because I'm really good at coming up with things I want to do, but not making money at them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's so funny, and you went to school for marketing. What you call it?
I don't remember any. It's like a lot of it was statistics based, and I had these stats teachers that had crazy accents, and like I just didn't understand them. Like I had an Indian guy, and he was like very, like his voice was very weird, and I couldn't understand what he was saying, and it was early in the morning, so like I didn't do well, but I got a C.
Yeah.
Then I had a Greek guy, and his vocal cords were like drenched in olive oil. Like I just like it was just, I didn't know what the fuck he was saying. He was super nice. I love that guy, but I was just. So like I never learned stats, and then my marketing classes were all based on like numbers and analyzing data. And I chose marketing because I wanted to do advertising. Like I was thinking, I like doing like sketches and being funny and filming stuff. So maybe I can do advertising. But I thought marketing was the same thing, and that I could like swerve into like making commercials, like Geico commercials or Progressive, and trying to be silly, and then parlaying that into filmmaking, like a lot of directors have done. I mean, David Fincher is a great example, or like even Zack Snyder. So it's like, I was thinking that. I was like, okay, I'll try to make like Lemonade or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it just, I feel like I got this like bullshit degree. Like I have a piece of paper, but I don't know any of those skills.
Yeah.
Like I know more from watching YouTube videos and learning about film and editing and even comedy. Like I know from podcasts, because I listened to You Made It Weird for like 4 years, and he just had so many different types of people on that I just heard all these perspectives, and I feel like I gained a lot of like XP from just hearing like the Sklar brothers and Michelle Buteau and like just random people that, and then of course like Judd Apatow, Nick Kroll, like everyone though.
Yeah.
Like you just get all of their insights, and you don't always keep it all, but you get so much. So like I learned like how to think of an audience and like how to not be upset about things, and without going through it myself, which is really cool.
Living vicariously through their experiences and whatnot.
Yeah, and that's way more valuable to me than college ever was.
Yeah.
So you're right. It's like it's better to just do what you want to do. It just sucks because your parents like control you so much. Not in a bad way necessarily. They want you to be happy, but you listen to them.
It's just approval. It's like I want to come over and we not argue about my choices, So I'll just do what you want me to do for right now, so you can leave me alone, because I just want to be left alone.
Yeah, I'll come out as gay later.
It's so funny. But it's like. Because like when I took off to Europe and I came back at like 19, and I was completely different and changed to the point where it's like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to, I'm not going to go back to school to do that whole approval thing. I was like, you know what? And I actually, by default, I made a better decision than it was to go to college, because at the time when it was all happening, everyone was going to college, and they all got into this huge debt. And then 2008
that's the other
hit.
Bad thing about college.
Yeah, huge debt. 2008 and 2009 came, and everything tanked, and no one can get jobs for the degree that they went for.
I graduated in 2010. I just came out right in the middle of the shit. Like I was like, cool. Yeah. I guess I'm just going to be an office assistant at my mom's job for the next 6 years. Like, that's what I did.
It did, because that's what happened. That's sort of like I was working for the state, and I was like, I just have a diploma, and this guy's got a degree, and we're making the same amount of money, and I get to keep most of my money because he still has to pay his tuition off.
Totally, yeah.
So I think I made the better choice, and on top of that, I'm doing stuff that I like doing in this stand-up and whatnot. And so it's like, and just because that's another thing too, like, people think that because you're a comedian or something like that, that you're dumb or not, and stuff like that. Like, or they don't.
Or like a degenerate.
A
like
degenerate.
They think of you as like this like gypsy person.
Yeah, and it's like, dude, I'm not that. And it's like, but then again, that's another thing too. Like, I think I heard this a while back. Was I don't ever necessarily like to even be all telling people like that I'm even the comic. I don't. Or the old saying too, like we're talking about sayings and stuff like that. Someone said, "A nice person never has to tell you that they're nice. You know, a smart person never has to tell you that they're smart. They just are, and you'll figure it out and you'll find out."
That's why I hate virtue signaling.
Oh, this the right?
Yeah.
Dude, I fucking hate that, dude.
Yeah.
And I see so many comedians doing it.
We mentioned someone in the office earlier, and I laughed because I was just like, "Yep, that's the dude that does that."
Yeah. And we all know it, and we all see it, and we all are appalled by it or grossed out by it, and we all like retract from that or try to disassociate ourselves with that type of behavior.
What's crazy though is how many people don't. Like the guy that I don't want to say who it is, but like they still get tons of likes and they're in this bubble where like they have fans and sycophants and like people who just like, yes, you're right, I agree, you know, and they're just.
It's because it's what it is. It's other people that don't that feel guilty because they actually
they're
don't.
White.
Not even they're white, or even they're
but
just
some of them, yeah.
Some of them, yeah, but like, or they just want to be seen as well, liking this. So they also
want to be known as a good person.
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't need to constantly display, my good attributes or, I don't need to be this certain person that says, it's almost as if it's that whole like, well, I have 5 black friends, I have 7 gay friends, I'm okay.
Yeah.
It's like the fact that you're counting them is the problem, but it's like, how about you just not be concerned with that? How about you just not post about all that other bullshit? Because all you're doing is just feeding into the fighting and the infighting. You're not changing anybody's mind. If you are a good person and genuine at heart, just display it as you go on through life, not display it as a.
What's interesting about? Oh no, it's okay. I was cutting you off. What's interesting is it reminds me of like when you're storytelling, the rule is show, don't tell. So it's like the same concept, right? Like show people that you're that person. Don't tell them constantly. Because I just thought that was cool.
No, it's true. You're right, though. It's true, man, because it's like you
don't want exposition of your character.
Put up or shut up,
Yeah.
Like what you go, I don't want to hear how great of a person you are, but then like I see you in the shows or see you and you're doing the exact opposite. Then you're just a piece of shit to me, and then I can't trust you, and then I'm like, and then I just disassociate myself altogether, and then it becomes a big work relationship because that's how it is. Like it's so funny because like in stand up, like there are people that I don't think that are funny, at all.
But you'll have them on your show because they do well.
Because they do well. They do their job. They do their job. I'm not here to like you. I'm not here to be your best friend. I'm here to work and get money and be better at my job. And just because I don't agree the way that you handle your files, as long as your files are complete and done, that's fine with me.
Yeah. You're not a micromanager.
No, man.
You're not like, no, there's not enough race jokes.
Yeah.
There's not enough. I need some more like driving through traffic jokes.
Yeah. It's like the only thing I ask you not to be is a hack. Just don't be a hack.
Yeah.
Don't be a hack and think that you can come over here and do your thing. And that's another thing too. Like some of these comics and some of these new people that come in here, they have this mentality of that it's like college or it's like school or it's like a job where they spend so much time at a certain level that they deserve their promotion now. Motherfucker, that's not how this works. It's not about, the time served and now you get to achieve. It's not like you go like in school. It's like, oh, you have to spend 60 hours in a class in order to achieve your 5 credits, or whatnot.
Yeah, it's like you have to get to a level where you're this good or whatever.
And it's like people are like, well, I've been doing this 7 years, 8 years, and I deserve it. And now I'm like, like, listen, this isn't seniority supermarket. Like, just because you've been here that long, that's actually kind of sad. You should be further along or you should be better, and you're not. And you're just trying to boss other people around. And now that you've been around so long, these younger cats don't know that you're not shit, because ain't nobody around here to tell them off. But I get that. I see that a lot where it's like people are like, I should be further along than I am. Really? Like, who the fuck says that? Like, you think you're due something? Then you're going to be in a world of hurt for this comedy game because it's the longest get rich quick scheme ever.
Yeah. I feel like that, but about myself. I'm like, I should be further along with my abilities,
Yeah, but again, that's just because, like you said, we both, like, we're being honest and agreeing with it. You're not focused completely on that. And like you said, your shit's all over the place. It's scatterbrained.
Yeah.
Now, if you sat down, but you're making the effort because you came to the writing session. And you're making the effort because you wanted to come to more.
Well, that's why I quit my job because I was able to I'm able to do that right now and focus on the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I tried to cut out that part. So I'm like, okay, I'll do comedy and then I do the video stuff, and I'm trying to like slowly set up like video business. Like that's part like it's because it's like I have all like the gear, right? And I should use it, like if I have it, I can try to use it in a way that's also going to pay me now, because my podcast is not getting like lots of views, you know? So I don't have sponsors, there's no Squarespace, there's no For Hims, you know? So it's like, in the meantime, I can throw out that I will do a commercial for your local business or something if you want.
Yeah.
But I'm not like hunting it. But it's like when people like, I can tell you like, hey, if someone comes up to you and is like, I need to shoot a rap video, or I have a local, like, I'm a tax accountant and I want a funny video for my Instagram. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like someone will message me and be like, oh, my friend is they need this, and then that's cool. Like that's fine for now. And at a certain point, maybe like I'll have enough built up that if I have to like really focus on that, I can take a break from my creative stuff and just do some work for a while. But I know how because I have it set up.
Yeah. And the
I
good
don't know
thing
where I
too
was going with all that, but
no, but also too the good thing about like you definitely still working on video and stuff like that, and but like I mean for the creative process of it, like let's say you do go viral or something does blow up. Now that you have a catalog of things they can go back and watch and look at, so that's also really a good thing to have too.
that's true, yeah.
To keep going, because now
Like my vlogs and things that I'm making, yeah.
Yeah, because it's like there's no. So Kevin Hart, he said so. One of my favorites is his first one, a grown little man, and then he has another one that came out after that. I can't remember what it's called, but. So Kevin Hart does all this stuff. He even has Soul Plane come out. Soul Plane gets the is one of the first movies that's majorly bootlegged. So his big break is about to come, and it gets fucking bootlegged, so it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't make any shit money at the box office, therefore.
But it makes him famous.
But it makes him somewhat famous, not too.
Okay.
But he's just kind of on the map, you know. But and so he does a set, and he borrows a lot of money from his wife's parents to make the first special. It doesn't do well either. Then he makes the second special and does okay.
Yeah.
But he owns it and stuff like that because no one else wanted to buy it. No one picked it up. That's why I lost so much money. No Netflix, nobody. So he goes and I guess the Shaquille O'Neal All-Star Comedy Jam asked him a couple times, we'd like to have you on the show. We want to put you on the show. And he's like, no, we're not going to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Well, anyways, he gets to the point where it's like, I'm not doing anything else right now. Yeah, fuck it. I'll do it. I'll just do it. Yeah, we'll go. We'll go. Matter of fact, it's because it's going to be at the All-Star NBA game. And I want to get free tickets, so he'll go. So he goes over there, and he goes, and it's like D. Ray Davis, and then it's him. He closes it out, and he accidentally does 20 minutes of his new special that is going to come out. So he burns 20 minutes of it. But it is fucking fire, and it just blows up, and that's what blows him up. Something that he didn't even want to do, that he just did off a whim and just ended up doing his stuff. And with that being said, when he finally blew up, they had to. People can go back and watch the second and first special, and
like
so
it's already out there.
It's already out there,
Yeah.
and he owned it. So he didn't have to pay any distributors, any marketers.
So you got all the money from all the viewing.
all of it.
Yeah.
So it's a cool thing to still keep constantly working, whether or not someone's looking, because one of these days someone might look, people might be there.
And that's the opportunity meeting the preparedness. And all that. Yeah.
So it's like,
yeah, no, and I hope like I have a lot of videos on my YouTube channel, and it's like I hope that it goes somewhere, but I mean, who knows? Yeah.
Yeah, and on top of that too, it's just a prepared. I mean, a skill that you're still fine tuning and still working on, because I know that there's probably videos that you are like, I should make this private actually.
No, I've taken some stuff down.
Yeah.
Because there's some like jokes we did that were like at the time it was funny or it was okay, and now it's kind of not. And like there's a couple that were out like I made with. Do you remember Mike Garland at all? I don't know. You might have met him.
That sounds familiar.
I started with him. He's like my friend that got me to try stand up. And now
There's a couple people like that. There was Mike Sella had a friend that he came with a friend that that I had seen around, and then I never seen him again, and then Sella just stuck around.
Yeah, it's weird how that works, but anyway, yeah, him and I were making sketches, and like we were just both into comedy, and we wanted to make movies and be funny and whatever, and so like that's why we did stand up. But there's like a few videos we made that are like, yeah, that's not okay, you know? But at the time, it was like no one cared, and it was funny to us, so we did it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know if I want to say what it is now, because I'm like,
yeah.
Because I just took off a couple from my actual channel, because we had these on Funny or Die, and then I don't even know if they might still be there. I don't know. Because our Funny or Die is just kind of there.
Yeah.
You know, like, we don't even have the password anymore. It just exists.
It's just in the ether of the internet.
But it was weird. We had some other good ones that I liked that he took down for some reason, and then he deleted them from his computer. So there's like this funny Thanksgiving sketch we did that I think would be fine now, and I was always really happy with it, and it just doesn't exist anymore. Like it's gone, and it sucks because I'm like, so I don't know, but yeah, it's like I'm just doing stuff because my attitude is like it sucks and I want people to care. But I'm just doing things because it's what I want to do, and I'm slowly working towards like I'm like the TV show thing I'm working on is like that's like a big goal I can do. It's something that if it comes together the right way, it could be something like it could get sold. I don't know. Like I don't know how that works. But
have you read the War of Art?
No.
You should check that out, man. It's really good. It's not Sun Tzu. It's Stephen Pressfield, and it's called The War of Art, breaking the writing blocks. But it's really interesting because I really like it because like what you're talking about is being creative no matter what. I mean, it doesn't like doing something you like in being an artist or being a creative is your passion. It's what your life's blood. It's what God or whatever, if you're whatever spirituality you believe in or whatnot, you're the instrument and you're getting played to make this joy out of whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
And that's the greatest thing about this life is you're supposed to be enjoying it and living it to the fullest or trying to.
That's part of it too, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to get old and die and then I didn't do anything cool or fun.
Yeah.
Like I did.
Tyler Durden, I don't want to die without any scars.
Yeah.
You know? He's like, I've never been in a fight. He was like, me neither. He's like, I don't want to die without any scars. It's because in the book it talks about how the first part of the book is great. This is broken up into 3 parts, and it's called the first part is called Fear, and it's all about fear and all about how fear disguises itself in order to stop you from living your fulfilled life.
Fear is the mind killer.
Yeah, because it's like
Dune. I'm so excited.
Dune. Oh yeah. So the book is like okay. So one of the things he says, he goes. Cancer patients are told most of the time that they got 6 months to live or a year to live. They give a time frame. So most of the time what cancer patients usually do is quit their jobs and all this stuff and, hey, if I'm going to die, I want to do something. I want to do this. I want to learn piano. I want to travel. Yeah. And he goes, and more times than not, their cancer goes into remission because this life is a gift and you're supposed to be living it, not sitting in a box. God or spirituality or whatever the hell gave you this life to live it. Yeah. Not to just be working and doing stuff that you don't want to do. So therefore, go out and enjoy these gifts that you have. It's just it's a great concept. It's like
totally. Yeah.
That's like going to a buffet and just sitting down and not eating when there's all this great food and it's for you. Go ahead, it's for you. Like no,
don't go crazy and hurt yourself eating it, but enjoy it. Like fuck around sometimes. Have a good. Because I think about my dad. Like not to bring it down, but
it's okay.
He was like. His mentality was always like save the money for later, like do like work really hard and have this nest egg and then someday later you'll do it. But he would and we would go on vacation and do stuff, but his attitude, especially like once my parents got divorced, he was just very like he would never enjoy things.
Yeah.
Like he would be like I got to go to work and then
waiting for that rainy day.
Yeah, and then he kind of like we had a falling out because I was sexually active and he's religious and I lived at his house and I had a girl over and he just couldn't get over that he found out, and I was like lying, like I wasn't telling him I was doing it. I was being secretive. So like I understand it was his house. I fucked up. But also it's like we had this falling out, and then he just never really spent time with me anymore because he was just so mad that I did that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was so against it, and he wanted me to come to him and be like, I'm sorry, I'm going to be celibate until I'm married. And I'm not going to fucking do that.
Yeah.
And so, like, he just kind of became this, like, hermit living in a big house where no one lived anymore. You know, like, everyone had moved out or divorced, you know. So it's just him in, like, a 6-bedroom house, and he was working, like, long hours and driving to work and, like, not taking care of himself. Like, you know, when he passed away, we like saw the fridge and it was like all Costco shit. It was like a ton of Coke, like Coca-Cola, and like hard-boiled eggs in packages. Like you buy like a bunch of them at once. It was like, you know, industrial size pistachios. Like it was just random shit.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't cooking, he wasn't enjoying, he wasn't decorating his house. Like it was empty. There were like parts of the house that were dustier than everything else because he just didn't go in there.
You never went to that spot. Yeah.
Yeah, and it just makes me. And then he died. He passed away like he was driving home late at night. It was like off Hazel on 50, and I think he was like, they said he was like passing a car. They think he was like passing or something happened. And he clipped like a construction vehicle that was in the way to like block for construction workers, so they didn't get hurt. So it did its job.
Yeah,
but he's dead. So no.
Yeah.
So like, but anyways, I think he was passing, and he was just kind of like, he had been like wine tasting with my aunts. So like, I don't know if he was a little tipsy still or not, but you know, he's probably exhausted because he's working like long hours and like waking up early, staying up late, and just never having fun and just focusing on work. And I think he was coming home and he just was out of it and clipped it and flipped out and crashed, you know. And to me, it's like if he had slowed down and had fun and like tried to have a relationship with his kids again, that wouldn't have happened. You know, he wasn't talking to my sister either because she had a baby and she wasn't married.
Oh, so he was just very
But meanwhile, she wasn't married, but she's still with the dad. He's a great guy. They both were in law school. They both passed law school, and they both passed the bar, and they're both working lawyers now, and they have their kid. What's the problem? Because there's no like religious ceremony that sealed the deal for you.
Yeah.
So you can't talk to them anymore.
We didn't check off boxes that you made for us.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's like because those boxes were bestowed down on you from other things in society, and like I said, so it's like it's a very I'm not gonna live for you, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like you want me to and especially you want me to live for you in your structured way, which isn't possible.
It's silly, and I've seen all this stuff, and I think about it, and that's why I'm like. That's why I did quit the job I have, because I was able to, and I can live, and I'm comfortable, and I can pursue what I want to do. And if I didn't do this, and if I was still working at the state where I was working, I was doing video work for them, but it was like, it was killing me. Like, it was so, like, the people around me, just like the environment, the way that there's all these like middle management, micromanaging people that have to put their say on something, and it's so toxic. It was killing. I could feel like it was just. So I can see how cancer would happen, right? Like you just start getting cancer because you're just like, and then you're eating shitty because you don't have time, or there's snacks. Like the state is constantly like potluck donuts, cake. Like I had a manager and she had a candy dish on her desk, but it was for her. Like, you know, like people would come in and they could eat it, but it was clearly like she's always walking around eating jujubes and fucking Twizzlers and stuff. It was gross. Not even good candies.
It's so funny because it's like it's true, man. You get into these in these work environments where it's like you don't belong.
Yeah,
and
the light is gross. The building is old. It's musty. The carpet is like it's depressing.
And it's like you've seen those like clips or where they have an apple and they talk good to it, or they have another apple and they just yell and say bad things to it. And they open it up and it's like this one, the one that was talked good, it was nice inside, and the one that's not, it's all rotten. And that's what it feels like, because it's like I
think that energy is kind of real.
I
don't know if we understand it, like what it is, but maybe it's spiritual, maybe it's like another dimension. I don't know, but yeah, that stuff it's a thing.
And so that's what the great part about that book is, like, and then it talks about the fear. Now I don't know what type of fear that my dad might have had, but like it talks about the fear of living your unlived life, and fear will disguise itself as an ego, you know, because fear was like, well, if I can't get in this way, almost like the devil's advocate. Have you seen that?
Dude, I'm sorry. I haven't seen it.
Okay, well, so
fuck, you keep naming like really great movies that I should have seen by now.
I mean, because these are like top lists of like this. I'm not even doing deep cut movies. Like,
no,
these are
you
like
know, part of it. I think my dad was really religious, so we couldn't see a lot of things. And those movies came out when I was a kid. And then like when I was a little older, I wasn't like thinking I needed to catch up. You know, and then there was a time when I was catching up on stuff, and it was like I watched all the Bond movies, or I watched The Godfather, or I watched Once Upon a Time in the West in America, like those ones. So it's just like I didn't get to it because it was like a mid-level important movie, but it wasn't like, oh, it's a classic. It's not Casablanca. It's like,
it's not on the AFI 100 list.
Yeah, but it's definitely something to watch. So like someday it'll be on Netflix or Prime, and I'll like watch it. You know?
So it's like, so the fear is like, it'll disguise itself as ego. Like, hey, you're a big fish in a small pond. You should stay here. Because if you go somewhere else, then you're going to be a little fish.
You can't compete with those people.
Yeah. So then it's like.
I have that all the time. Because it is scary. It's like, can you imagine just like I did if my TV show was made and then suddenly I'm working for Netflix.
Yeah.
And then suddenly there's like cameras and people and they're asking me questions and I have to answer them and I don't know. I mean, that's scary.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, do it because you want to be there. That's what you want to do. Like, don't think of it as like 10 years from now. That's like, let's do this now.
Yeah, stop putting pressure on yourself for something that's not even there yet. Stop creating futures that don't exist and burning bridges that haven't even been built yet.
Yeah, that helps with comedy a lot too, because a lot of shows, I'll be like so scared to do the show because I'm like, well, they're going to see me and like that person's going to be there. And like, if I don't do good on this show, then I can't get more shows. It's like, no, just like you bomb before, you can bomb again and you'll be fine. So just do the show and have fun. That was last night. It's like started with me being afraid of what the SF Comics will think. Sammy Obeid, he's going to see me bomb. And I didn't bomb the first set, but it wasn't good. And then the second one, I just talked to the crowd. Like I just had fun with them. Yeah. And that's all.
Just be present, be in the moment, and that's the best part about it. And and then about the fear too. There was another part of the fear. It was also saying it'll also anything is stagnant that takes away from you living your good life, like that TV show or your job or all this stuff. It's like, and then the fear of not being able to provide and the fear of this, and it's like you can do all that stuff. Don't worry. And then
it'll come to you. Like just do it. Yeah.
And then the second part of the book is really interesting because it's the amateur versus the professional. And each page, and it's not even full pages sometimes, but it's like, this is what the amateur thinks and this is what the professional thinks.
Wow, yeah.
And then this is cool. So each page is different. The left side is always in the right side. And so it's like, the professional knows that that success and fame is a byproduct of doing what their passion is. And when it does come, they're not concerned about ever falling off or ever running dry, because the amateur's thought process is I'm the fame and the success, and how do I keep it? How do I stay? Like an artist and a creative is always just going to be creating, so it's an endless well of creativity.
Yeah.
So don't be worried about, my last hit and my next hit and when does that, because that's not who that's not your thought process. That's not who you are. Your thought process.
Don't worry about being relevant. Just do your thing.
Yeah, because you're the supposed trendsetter. But the thing about it is, you're not even thinking about being a trendsetter. You're just being you.
Yeah.
And that's the great thing, because you get to grow and constantly keep growing. And that's the greatest thing about living this life is, I know how to write for, like I think we were talking about this the other day. I know how to write for 25-year-old Carlos. I can write a killer.
That was a really interesting way you put it, because I never thought about it as like, now I know how I would write for that older version of me, because I just always think I'm me right now and I'm writing for me. But it was like, I thought I liked that. That was cool.
Yeah, because I was like, I know how to write for 25-year-old Carlos. I can write like an hour right now. I can write a good hour of stand-up comedy for 25-year-old Carlos, but I don't write like that. That's not how I'm funny, and that's not how I want to. Because then that becomes a character, and I got to keep doing that character, and that gets tiring.
I got wasted last night and fucked this bitch, and you don't even drink anymore.
Yeah, and now I know how to write. And then when I got 30, and then when I got 32, I knew how to write for 30-year-old Carlos, 35, 35. So but it's so funny because and I don't ever want to be a character. I don't even like being a character when I'm being normal. I remember I went on a date with the maybe, and.
It'd be funny if she watched this long and she's like, "Wow, they mentioned me 3 times in a 2-hour podcast."
I sat down at the table and we actually had breakfast. And I'm sitting down and I look at her and I go, before we start, I go, I'm not cool. I was like, I'm just, so don't like, because I'm not cool at all. Like, I'm not going to be like smooth. I'm not sly. I'm going to say a lot of silly shit. I'm probably going to be goofy. I might be embarrassing here and there, but I was like, I was like, so I'm just letting you know. And it was so funny because she looked at me and she goes, oh, I thought you were cool? And I go, yeah. I go, all right, dude, I love you. I'm in love with you right now in your face.
And then that's when she was like, oh, I have to go.
Yeah, that's what she was like. That's what she was like. She's like, check, please. But it's just like, because I don't want to have to keep up a persona, and it's tiring, dude. And that's what I see some of the virtual signaling that's going on, like you were talking about. Like, they have to keep that up now. And now they have a target on their back for what is appropriate, inappropriate for that character that they built. And I'm like, ooh, that's a slippery slope, and that's a thin line.
Yeah. That's why I just try to be honest or myself. I kind of make up characters as far as like weirdness. Like on Twitter recently, I've been tweeting they're just like little bits of thoughts that are kind of crazy. It's not necessarily a joke or a punchline. It's just like I can't even like think of one of them, but it's like then you scroll back like a month ago and the tweets were more like coherent, and then it's like so like right now it's more stream of consciousness, but then it was like, oh, this is like a setup punchline, or oh, here's like a bunch of retweets of other tweets, so it's like it's not consistent. But I'm fine with that because it's just who I am. I'm not trying to hide or create a character that I have to
constantly be. The only character that I've created that's on Facebook is just the silliness, and that's just just a sliver. To be honest, it's a very small sliver of my personality.
Yeah.
And I don't have to, I don't have to constantly be that person because I'm not always that person. But just right here in this little venue right here, I am.
Yeah.
But it's like,
but you can also say like that person doesn't have to always be the same. Like they can evolve and be different, and that's okay.
That's the great thing about the sense of humor. Sense of humor can always change and be constantly and growing, and it can be forgiven. That's the thing that people don't understand, and that you were talking about too. Like, people are making jokes and getting mad and stuff like that. I think that's all going to pass, and people are going to start realizing this shit, and stuff's going to be forgiven. And then plus, I know that I don't really ever have anything mean or negative to say because I don't even do roast because I don't like being negative. Like,
I love roast.
I can't be on roast. If I'm on a roast, I'm good at talking shit. I'm good at being evil. Like, because that's where I come from. My default, before I became a better person and worked on myself, was being that.
Yeah.
So I know how to do that. I know how to be sarcastic. I know how to be, because sarcastic comes from a Greek word, sarka. Sarka is to lash and cut the flesh.
Yeah.
So it's like, but I know how to be mean like that, but I don't want to be mean like that because that doesn't really put me in a good place and position in my brain, and it doesn't help anybody else out, and it doesn't help further my career either.
Yeah.
Does
it like tumble you down a bad path kind of thing?
Then I'm nasty. Then I'm mean to everybody. And then I'm for the next 3-4 days, I'm writing negatively. I'm looking at everything I hate. I'm more focused on what I don't like as opposed to what I do like. Because when I'm focused on what I don't like, guess what I do? I start looking for it more. You know? So,
it's like hard to, I get it.
So it's like, I want to be more turned on by funny things, nice things, laughable things that make me happy, put me in a good place to where I can exude joy and to be enjoying things, to be in joy, So sometimes when I'm getting nervous before I get on stage, I got a list. I have a list of things, a list of videos that I have already saved that I watch. Yeah.
Dude, can I add one?
Yeah, you want to add one?
So look up, it's from Two Bears, One Cave. And it's Tom Segura finding out that Bert drinks Kool-Aid all day. Because Bert will have this, like, he has this big metal jug, and you think, like, oh, it's his water, like, it's his water bottle.
Yeah.
But he's like drinking and he mentions it's Kool-Aid and Tom's like, excuse me, what? And he goes, yeah, it's Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid's delicious. It's like,
he loves Kool-Aid.
So you're like a 47-year-old man, like what, you're drinking Kool-Aid, And then he like gives it to him and Tom pours it out and he's, oh my God, like you can see that it's pink. It's like strawberry or whatever the fuck. And then he just like, the way he starts laughing about it, he like loses his mind. And it's like, you can't not laugh when you hear Tom Segura's laugh in that moment, because it's just such an honest, real, like, he did not see this coming. And it's like, even as crazy as Bert is, it's like another level that he didn't imagine was possible.
Yeah.
I'll show you after.
I gotta check it out because
it's like a joyous. It'll bring you joy no matter what mood you're in.
I have a lot of pandas, elephants.
Oh yeah.
Bulldogs and kids and I had that one dude. I was on Robert's podcast and he was watching me watch it before we went on, and he was like, "What are you watching?" It's just this dude. It's an old video of this dude, and he's talking about this girl. He's like, yo, he's this dude. He's this dude sitting in the car, and he goes, "Man, this other day, this girl got mad at me." Because I was like, my boy hit me up, and he was like, "Where the bitches at?" And I was like, "Well, there's some bitches over here." And the girl was in the car with me and her sister, and she was like, "Where? What are you talking about? What bitches where? There ain't no bitches over here." He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, there's." He goes, "When there's when there's more than one female, oh no, it was the hoes." That's right. He goes, the hoes. He goes, "You the hoes." He goes, "When there's a whole bunch of goose, them is geeses." He said, "You don't see one goose being like, who the fuck you talking about? There were not no geese." Can't
argue with that.
Funny to me. His logic was so hilarious.
Yeah,
and it's just so funny. But like,
it's like honest, right? Like that's his real thoughts.
Thought process.
Like
and he wasn't trying to be like, like I'm not being mean. Like I'm not saying you're a hoe that you sell your body. I'm just you the hoes.
I call ladies.
You the hoes. It's a school of fish, bitch. Chill out.
It's like if I work for the New Yorker, you'd be women.
Yeah,
but it's not.
It's so funny, man. And I watched that and like. Because there's that other book too, called I think it's called Power of Now or some shit like that. I think
I've heard of that one. Is that Eckhart Tolle?
Yeah, and it's like
I used to work at a Borders.
Oh yeah,
I know a lot of books that I haven't read.
it's like there's it's really great because it's like this book about just like the power of now, like because it's a tool you can use too when you because I started getting anxiety later on in life in stand up and stuff like that, which is like so weird because like I'm.
You grow up not having it, or you have it but you don't know, and it's like normal anxiety of like I don't want people to laugh at me.
Yeah. And then it's like now it's like
where's this coming from?
Paralyzing, you know.
Yeah.
And I've done sets with being in full blown panic attacks.
Really?
I've done sets.
And you do well still, or is it?
Yeah, I
wow.
did. It was
people don't even know, but inside you're like.
I want to run. I want to get out of there.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because it's like this is something I love doing, and I was like, why is this happening? And I started figuring it out, but I was at the Punchline one time and. I all of a sudden like they were announcing my name. They go Carlos, or they were going the exits, the fire exit, this and that, It's at the SF Punch, and all of a sudden I just like I got hot. I got super hot. My hands got numb. I couldn't breathe. I felt like it was just suffocating. Like every breath I took, I was stealing the air out of the room, and there wasn't gonna be enough for a next breath. And so I went outside, and I'm like, and then the security guard's like, "You all right?" And then Ron comes out, and he's like, "Are you all right?" And I go, "I'm not, man." I go, "I need, I can't breathe. He goes, "All right, do you want me to go up? I'll go up for you." And I was like, "Yeah." And then he starts walking off, and I go, "You know what? No," because in my brain I was like, "You're ridiculous. You can't. There's no calling in sick. And what's wrong? Get your ass up." And then I was like, "No, man, I'm okay. I'll do it." And I get in, and they're still doing that. This is all happening within the announcement of bringing me up on stage. And then they go, "And you're Carlos Rodriguez." And I get up on stage, and I go, and I get, because it's happened before, and one time I got a laugh. Once I get the laugh, it dissipates and goes away.
Yes, yeah. Once you start to feel like, I've been here before, you like jump on a train track almost.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay, I know where I am.
And it was like, and one time I got it in the middle of a set, and I completely blanked and forgot. Everything, and I couldn't remember nothing. But I also the great thing
is it like imposter syndrome? Like you're just realize like I don't do this. I can't do this. Yeah.
It's just all of a sudden like what am I doing up here? Who am I? You know.
This is the Punchline.
This is
where Robin Williams did things.
No, I don't even think like that. I don't even think I'm myself.
Okay.
Like I'm completely like what's going on? And I remember one time my mom was at the show that it happened, and I just went completely blank, you guys. I don't remember anything. I don't know nothing. And then my mom was like,
"Who am I?"
my mom was in the audience. She goes, "He's having a stroke." And I go and I look at her. And I go, "Calm down, Sylvia." And then they all laughed. And then I went off and did my thing.
And you got back. You remembered?
I got back to talking. I don't want to sound super braggy or anything like that, but I've gotten to a point on stage where I don't need my jokes. I don't need the material that I have.
So you could riff if
I
you
can
needed
talk.
to.
I can be silly. I can already, because I've always
That's
been
my
silly.
dream. I'm still like, I think I'm just starting to maybe be able to talk to people, like, because I want to do that. Like I was thinking yesterday about the set I was doing, and I have like jokes about my dad like being dead, and like sometimes I do it and people are sad, and sometimes I can kind of wiggle them into laughing, you know, like. And the first set they didn't laugh; they were sad. They felt weird for me.
Yeah.
And the second set, like I got them, you know, and it's like, because I just have to say it a certain way and I have to behave a certain way. Like
I'll teach you a trick about like stand up and stuff like that. Like so. I had this one joke about, you know, being on the road and, you know, using the shower at friends' house or whatnot. And some people were like, this joke is so funny. I haven't done it in years, though. And I was like, they're like, why is that? And then I had this other joke, too, about, like, when I was a kid and this whole, like, just some terrible shit happening. And they go, I can't believe people laugh at those jokes. And I go, it's because I'm vulnerable. It's the vulnerability factor of it. I'm not saying this from a point of, you know, to make you laugh. I'm telling you this from my insecurity and my scaredness and my vulnerability. And once you guys are all in that with me, we can kind of laugh to take the tension away from it, because we want to.
So you're creating tension to
release
alleviate
it.
it.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
So it's like that's another mechanism you can use to get it to go deeper into your thought process and the way you speak and the things that you go through.
Yeah.
Because all people want to do is be related to. And if they can't be related to, then they want to relate to you. So all you have to do is let them in, and all of a sudden, too, like, because I had this one joke about, like, well, I mean, because the joke that the story that I had was about how my friend was a pimp when we were like 15, and yeah, and it's like, and then he was gonna be, he went like, he goes, he was like, yeah, man, this girl, she owes me money. I didn't know though. I didn't know. So me and my boy are and it's his brother, and we're because this is when we were selling crack over at, back in the day when we were kids. But this is a long time ago.
You know, when you used to do that as a kid.
And so he
Pokemon cards, crank.
I know, but and he goes, he goes, hey, fool, come over here. And he goes, where's my money at? And she was like, I'm sorry, I don't know where money's at. I'm just, and he goes, and she like goes, all right, just relax. So she's crying. And he goes, and I don't even know what's going on. You know, I'm just standing there because I'm just like, oh, I'm just backup or I'm just whatever. And he goes, he says, chill out, girl, chill, stop crying. He goes, I ain't gonna hit you. He goes, I ain't that type of dude. And as soon as he said that,
he's 15 and he's got all these lines.
Yeah.
I ain't that type of dude.
He didn't say that though. He said some other shit though, and I was like, and he goes, and as soon as he said that though, I looked at her and I was just like, in my head, I'm like, oh my god, girl, I was hella scared because I was hella scared for her, and I was like, oh my god, like
you were like watching a movie.
Yeah, and I was like, girl, I'm so happy that you're not gonna get beat, you know. And then he goes, and then he says, but my brother and his boy do, and I go, you know, and it's like, and it totally takes this whole mind fuck
and
of
then
like,
the Wonder
what's
Years
happening?
narrator came in and he was like, and that's when I realized I was
and it's
I
like
was a thug or something.
And it's like it accidentally happened. It's like, what the fuck did I get myself into? You know? And so it's like it's a serious situation. It's a terrible instance that's happened when I was a kid or when I was like 14, 15 years old. I mean, you can't blame me for that stuff, but it's like it's just something that happened. But me telling you my vulnerability, my inside thoughts, like I wasn't trying to be tough. I wasn't trying. I wasn't looking.
I went on the journey just now, and I laughed. Because it's funny.
Because it's funny the way because the vulnerability of where I'm coming from about it. I'm not coming from it at the angle of.
Because you were naive about it. You were like, we're just going to talk to this girl. Yeah. And then he was you were muscle the whole time. Yeah. It's like a twist. Like
we were both victims at that point, you know? So it's like, I don't want to beat you up and that. Why didn't you choose a better life, girl? Why are you fucking with my life, you know? I started putting the blame on her, you know? I was like,
you stupid hoe. Now I do want to hit you.
Yeah, now you need one. You know what? I'm going to smack some sense into you.
Why do you make me feel like this?
That's how I talked myself up to beat her. Yeah, but it's funny because it's like, like, you know what I'm saying? And then
it's true because like for my dad, it's like no one knows him. When I just say my dad's dead, they're like, oh, I love my dad, you know? Like, so they don't know that my dad was like fucked up the mic. They don't know that my dad was like a religious dickhead. That he was like a clean freak to like a militant standard. Like that he was like he would get angry and yell really loud, and he was kind of scary.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like no one knows all those things about him. So you're right. If I could set that up a little more and then do the joke,
if you can like start like making vulnerability like my dad yelled so loud one time, like dude, like like through the door, I thought he was in my face, like he was like I felt his breath, like stuff like that.
His breath went around the corner up the stairs into my room.
And stuff like that, like and then because people like I used to.
And they could put themselves in that moment, or they'll understand from like movies or their friend or something.
I had this one thing that I was working on too, and it's so funny. I was working on so many things, and then this all happened because I was talking about like spending the night down friends' houses where their parents argue. Like that's like the most uncomfortable thing ever.
I don't know if I've ever had to deal with that.
Yeah.
Like I was at my best friend's house a lot, but they never. I don't know. Sorry, you had.
No. But that's just the thing. Like, I had this whole stuff about like this whole, kid thing because I wanted to write more about my 10 through 12 years of life, 10 years old to 12 years old, because in that part of life I'm super vulnerable because I don't know anything and I'm like experiencing everything for the first time. Because the third hour that I was working on was going to be the first comedy thing the first hour that I'm done with, I was going to be like the high life of the low class, and it's all going to be my upbringing, and then the second hour that I was already pretty much, I needed 10 or 15 more minutes done with it. And it was called At My Best I'm Still a Problem, and it was all like relationship stuff that I've kind of learned over the being in my 20s and in my 30s.
Do you rotate these hours when you do shows, or how do you keep them fresh?
I take pieces of all of them and mix them all together.
Okay.
But
you also can keep them separate. So like if you do a special, you can like, okay, I'm gonna do these right now.
I could pull them all out. Like so when I go on stage, I don't have an order of what I want to do, but it just depends on how the crowd is feeling. And I'm like, oh, this crowd is really good for this stuff. I'm gonna work this out and see if I can find more stuff in this bit or whatnot, or in this thought process.
Yeah.
Or I just go off and I'm like, you know what, I gotta remember this and I gotta remember that and next time.
Yeah.
And then and I would mix the third hour in, because the third hour I wanted it to be called My First Comedy Special, and it basically be about a lot of my firsts.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah, my first time I cussed.
It's a pun, kind
of. Yeah.
No, I like it. It's good.
Yeah, because then it would be like, like the first time I cussed, the first time I.
Dude, I remember the first time I said the F word.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's such a crazy, liberating thing. Okay, so tell me yours. I'll tell you mine. That's what I think. Yeah.
I accidentally did it.
Oh.
It was like third grade. I think it was second or third grade, and we were in the playground for that side of the school, because we had like first through third grade. And then kindergarten was separate, and then 4th through 6th was like another playground. And we were like playing kickball. It was like the recess before school starts. Like you just get to school and you start recess, and then the bell rings and you go inside. So like I'm out there.
That cold ass recess?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm out there, we're playing kickball, and I was in line with this kid, and I was telling them the story about the other day when I got to third base, and it was awesome. And I was like, yeah, I kicked this sucky fucky ball to third base, and I got all the way over there. And he goes, oh, you said the F word?
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I didn't. What? No, what? No, what? What are you talking about? No. And then he goes, yeah, you did. And he ran away, and I was like, oh. And I was like freaking out.
And the fear set in.
Yeah, I was like, oh no, I ruined my life. And then my first grade teacher, she was like the yard duty at that moment, and she came over and she was like, Luke, what did you do? Mm-hmm. And I was like, I don't know. He said I said the F word. Like, what is that? And I don't remember like how we resolved it. I don't think I got in trouble.
Oh, okay.
She just like explained to me that it was bad.
Yeah.
Because I was like earnestly like afraid that I said fucky, but I didn't even say it right. But I accidentally said it for the first time.
It just came out. It was funny because like the first time I cussed, I was in second grade, and they were doing cursive on the thing, and they did the A, and then also they did a lowercase s in cursive, and we'd have to do it. And I remember when she did it, I looked and I didn't even cuss for anybody else. I cussed for me. I go, what the fuck is that? And then,
so you already knew the word, and you just were saying it to yourself?
Yeah,
like under your breath?
But I didn't know. I've heard the word, but I didn't know when or how to use it. But apparently I was a natural at it, And I was like, and I go, it's so funny because when I first cussed, it wasn't even for anybody else. It was just for me. It was just my inner dialogue coming out. And I go, I wasn't trying to be cool. I wasn't trying to it wasn't in a fight. It was just, And then
I think it's time.
It's
what the fuck is that?
It's a total like just inner dialogue moment. Just like, what the fuck is that's an S, a lowercase S, and I just wanted to write all these firsts and stuff like that, and I was talking about like how me being a kid, especially like the 10 and 12-year-old stuff,
Yeah.
like I was that kid that they didn't let in the house at friends' house, I'd be at the screen door and I'd be looking in, and I'm like, yo, can Mike come out? And then they're like, your rude ass friend is fucking looking in my house again, and I'm all like, I can hear you, like I was that kid. So I that's the thing too I like about being in stand up is I like that. As you get older, I feel like you become a better comedian because you know how to contextualize. You lived a lot of life. You have a lot of thoughts. You have a lot of backstory
Totally.
and back things that go on.
All my jokes for like the first 3 years were completely made up things.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, when you fuck a fat girl and blah, blah, blah. Or like, you remember maybe some of my jokes. Like I had a joke about In-N-Out and how I ordered animal style.
Oh, yeah.
And a baboon tried to rape me in the bathroom. Like just... like idiotic, or like I talked to a gorilla at the zoo and he was eating shit, and the reason was it was Gwen Stefani shit. It was bananas, like
yeah.
It's just like I just like worked backwards from a silly tweet to like create this story that didn't happen at all.
Mm-hmm.
And like some of my jokes still aren't true. Like I joke about having a baby with my girlfriend. We're not having a baby, but it's like the joke is good and who cares? It's funny.
Yeah.
But it's not made up enough where I'm like just heightening it to this crazy like animals are talking to me.
Yeah.
And it really happened, The
thing though that's great though about that, like you're talking about that. Though. See what happens is your thought process is a little too like sometimes people are good writers and they could just write like that really fantastical stuff or fantasy type of thing.
Yeah,
but
it
it's
can
like,
work if you do it right. Yeah,
if you do it right. But like as you get older, or in stand up, or you become a better comedian, I should say. You can take those weirdo thoughts because you're not setting it up in punchlines and doing an impression of what you think a stand-up comic sounds like. Now you're saying it as your weird random thought, and we can accept it a little bit more. You're like,
yeah, because instead of framing it as like this, guess what happened last Tuesday?
Yeah.
You're like, what if this happened? And then you
Yeah.
can say it, but you're framing it as like I'm just thinking this.
Or even like, yeah, you could just say like, you could even use that animal style joke now. It's like every time I think of animal style, I just think of like a baboon raping me in the bathroom.
Yeah, I'm like, so what's gonna happen? Am I gonna go to the bathroom and it drops out of the ceiling? It's like
Yeah.
the same joke. It's just you're right. Recontextualizing it to actually be palatable, or not palatable, but like it makes sense now.
Yeah.
It's not stupid.
Because that's the type of comic that you will become. But like I said, there are some comics that do write weirdo shit, but they just have this crazy punchline, and it'll hit. But it's like they're not gonna. It's just something totally different. It's another type of. It's a subset of stand up, which is great. If you can do it, you can do it. I when I see stuff like that, I'm really in awe. Like I love when people stay in character. Like well, I mean like. Not to say stay in character, but just
like a good example. I'm trying to think of someone who does that.
Where they turn into the character on stage and they go for it all the way. Yeah. And then they get off. But I don't mean like they just stay in character on stage all the time. I mean like during their set and then they go into the character at some point.
Come out of it,
and they come out of it. I'm like, yeah. I was like, I like that you stuck with it. Even when it wasn't working and then it came back around again to working, that's a good job, man. I appreciate that, and I want you to know that I recognize it. Not that I'm anybody too, but I was like, because I know that does sometimes fuck with people's heads. Because it would fuck with mine. Sometimes I would do characters, or I would do, or I don't even know sometimes when I'm doing a character by accident or an impression. Like I didn't know I could do a Bert Kreischer's impression.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I'll talk to Ellis and I'll talk about stand up and comics. And to accentuate the story, I accidentally do someone's impression. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, they're like that's a spot on Mikey Winfield, or that's a spot on Lance. And I'm like, and I was like, oh yeah. And my problem is I know how to do impressions of people nobody knows.
I've had the same thing because I like to do impressions of like a Robert Barry or like somebody, and then. Yeah, the comics know, but I can't just do that. Like, I can't go on stage because then I'm just doing his jokes or something, Yeah. Or like me and Joey Stoltz will do impressions. Like he's good at a lot of them.
Yeah, he's good at impressions too. Yeah, Joey does.
He does Alfonso Portela, and he'll just be like, "Whoa, Neil." I forget the joke now, but
I remember. Yeah, he would do. He's actually really good. He's actually big into film too.
Yeah,
that cat. Yeah. I haven't seen him in a minute, man. Oh, I haven't seen a lot of people in a minute. because it's been
COVID.
Everyone's been down.
I think Joey like retreats into like his cave, like and then he comes out sometimes like, oh good, you're back, and then he like goes back into his apartment, and I think he needs to be reached out to more. Like when I've texted him or called him, he'll be like, hey man, like, but then he kind of just, if you don't, I don't know.
Yeah, it's it's interesting, man, that how when comedy comes back, who's gonna come back out?
Yeah, I'm really curious to see. Because, like some people, who was I talking to? So I was talking to someone, and they were saying, like, this is a great time to quit because you could just, like, quit and then redirect what you're, like, oh, I do this now. I think it was, like, literally, it was, like, yesterday, but I don't know who I was talking to about this.
I was just thinking that people are going to get so I think people are also going to realize how much happier they are without doing stand-up in their life because it's not something that they love. It's not something that they're passionate about. They're just something that they did and tried and got used to doing and going.
I love it. Yes, last night was like I was in heaven.
Yeah.
I can't, like, especially because I had a good show, the second show. I was just like, this is why I'm here. Like, we're out here. There's culture. We're on Haight-Ashbury. Like, I was just, it's stupid, but I'm just like,
true.
This is like a historical place. The Milk Bar sign is red, and you can see it spilling. Like, the light was spilling down on the back of people's heads, and like, it just looked beautiful. And I was like, this is like, we're here. We're like living and doing shit.
Yeah.
We're like outside. We're not like on YouTube for hours watching videos or like on our phones. Like, we're like, that person's talking, we're listening, we're having fun. And then I'm over here, I'm talking to comedians I don't know very well. And like, it just felt like good. I was like, I miss this.
Yeah.
I need this. I like to stay up late and be out here doing this shit. I get tired, I want to go home, but also like, I love this.
Yeah, I like the option of being able to stay out. It's so funny because it's like just because I'm saying like some cats are going to realize like, since stand-up's been gone away, my life is a little bit more enjoyable or a little more better because I don't have to worry about this person talking shit about me. I don't have to worry about...
or like that person got the show and I didn't, and they're busy tonight, but where's my shows? I'm at home tonight. Yeah.
Yeah, because then all of a sudden you start taking yourself out of that race and you're like, actually, just because they got those shows, they're not making... Actually, what I'm doing now, I'm making more money or I'm a little more happier. It's like,
Yeah.
And you're out of that circle of what was important.
You got some introspective time because you got to like step outside of the scene and think about it. Because I noticed like one of the shows I've done, I thought it would be really hard to like get it back. But the few shows I've done, I'm like, no, I got comfortable really quick, and I'm almost like, it's almost like I improved a little bit without it.
Oh yeah.
Like sometimes you need a break.
No, yeah.
Because they always tell you like stand up, like you just got to do it, reps, like get all the sets in. Like Miles Weber one time was like minimum 10 mics, 10 sets a week, and I was like, that's crazy.
No, yeah, I couldn't do that. When I first started, like maybe 5 or 6, but like. I had to be a person, and on top of that too, like I remember sometimes I would take a break and I'd come back better. I would never have I wouldn't have rust. I'd be like, I missed this, or I like saying I like this joke again. I fell back in love with it.
Yeah. Or you said it different now because you haven't said it for 4 nights or a couple weeks.
I haven't tape recorded it, monotone it, Yeah.
Yes, so like you're the bullet points of it, and you're just telling it.
Yeah.
Because there were like maybe it was the dead dad joke or my Russian joke. But one of them I was like saying differently, and I was like, like that's a much better. Oh, it was a Russian thing because I was trying to say like, I don't feel very Russian, so I'm doing things to be more Russian. So, and I changed it last night. It used to be like, so I've been stealing a lot of cars. But now last night I was like, it came out. I was like, so if you go back to your car later and it's missing. It's nothing personal. It's just my culture. Like we steal cars and then chop them up and sell them on the internet, and it did okay, but it was better than it was.
Yeah.
So but to go back to my dad thing, because we went down this whole thing, and I was like, I'm gonna come back. I was thinking like about crowd work, and I want to be better at it. But I was thinking of like what I could say. I didn't end up doing it in the second show, but I was like, if someone gets sad about my dad, I was instead of like the thing you said to do, which is like bring them in with you to your tragedy and stuff, and then make it funny. I was like. Well, I could just like, is your dad alive? Cool, your dad's fine, so you're good. Don't be sad. Like, you can go home, your dad's good. Like, my dad's dead. We can laugh about that. I don't know. I was going to, like, try to riff something with that. Or say, like, or if they did have a dead dad, be like, oh, no, I did do it. I did. I sort of did that, and I was like, does anyone else have a dead dad? And this guy raised his hand. I was like, yeah, Dead Dad Club, and I elbowed him.
Yeah.
And it was just like, DDC, haha. Like, I just tried to find something in it, but it felt good because like I want to get better at crowd work, and I'm not super great at it.
Yeah. Well, the thing about when I found out, like, well, for me with the crowd work is like, because I learned from the other comics, or the older comics from me, where they were like, you don't ask questions, you make statements, because then you open up the crowd to answer the questions, and sometimes they're funnier.
Oh, so you say like, "Oh, you sleep in," instead of saying, "Do you sleep in?"
Yeah. Oh, this guy, I could tell you sleep in because, man, I sleep in all the time. Like, you know what I hate? And all of a sudden you get to go into your joke. So eliminate the...
or even write something from it because now you're thinking about, oh, what do I do with that subject matter? Yeah.
Sometimes if you're not good at it or, like sometimes the crowd is going to have a better answer than you have already ready sometimes too, So it's like you got to learn how to roll with the punches. I mean, yeah, the best thing is to get better and get doing it with the audience. But are you like that all the time? Because it's like, because that's...
Oh, being a crowd work guy?
Yeah, well, I mean, not being a crowd work guy. I mean, like, are you quick-witted? Because that's what it is.
Sometimes.
Yeah, see, because that's the thing about it, about the
I have to get
work.
more comfortable. Like, my quick wit is like, if I'm comfortable and if it's with the right people, then I can do it. So I think just doing more stand-up and, like, having the break and coming back, I'm just like, oh, this is whatever. Like, I'm having... And then... not having I'm on stage, I need to do my jokes, remember the set list. When that stuff goes away, then you are open to, you're freer to do that.
Because wit is the highest form of thinking, So it's because it's such a...
It's connecting things that other people didn't connect yet.
Yeah, right, and within seconds. So it's like, if you're quick-witted, then you're great, or then you're good, you can do this. But if you're not, then I would stray away from it. And like I said, too, like, and... Also, too, I hold myself too on a very high thing where it's like I don't want to go for the easy thing. Like I know that there's easy hack stuff for crowd work. Like, oh, this guy's got, I think we said before, like, oh, he's got 2 girls at the table. Oh, hey, man, you're a pimp. Or, oh, this over here, you guys are coworkers. Ooh, trying to get it. This stuff that is just super easy and super, I don't like that.
Yeah.
And when I see someone do crowd work like that, and then they come off and they're like, yeah, I'm really good at crowd work. It's like, no, you're not. That's the easiest thing to do. You basically just did a hack joke. A plus B plus C equals D. If D is less than the cost of a recall, then we don't do it. No, like Fight Club again. But
oh shit.
Okay, we're done.
That thing's out of. We lost the video.
Oh shit.
I think it's full.
Oh, okay, we're done.
Well, we can finish. Let's just finish the audio, and then on the YouTube one, it'll just cut out, and there'll be audio.
Okay.
We'll just have a still image of us like laughing for the rest of it. I don't care. This is great because it's.
What are we at?
We did an hour, and this is an hour 31. So
okay.
2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Longest one I've done so far. What I need to do is, I mean, there's a terabyte on the back of that thing, so it's crazy but it also records like really dense files that are crazy big. But yeah, so I don't know.
Crowd work. That's what we're talking about. Yeah. So it's like when I see that happen, I'm like whatever. Like, no, you're not. Like real crowd work or something like that is when you're conversing with somebody and they're giving you information and then you're feeding off of it though, but it's not something that
you're not just like lightly roasting them based on like, oh, you're white trash because you're wearing a sleeveless shirt.
Yeah. It's more of like, let me know more about you and let's get into this stuff like that and stuff that can only be mined or figured out right here. That's not easy and recordable. It's something that like, something that the first tier thought, you know what I'm saying?
Like, it's almost like you say those things in your head really quick and then you're like, what else? Like you're going through, like you're looking through CDs in a store and you're like, I want like the deep cut. And oh, there it is. Like,
I'm looking for the rare. These are all your mainstream albums, but I want the rare Japan single that you guys have. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what you want. That gem. That one where it's like, dude, that can never be done again. Like that was only for right now. Only the way we could ever see that again is if I recorded it. But other than that, that moment that was created, it can never be duplicated here again because that was something that happened between us. I feel like that is real crowd work.
That stuff's great. And if you do record, if you have like a guy and you're filming and they can get it, then that's cool.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
But
it's like, but like I said, a lot of comedy clubs don't like you to do crowd work too much because it opens up the door for people
Hecklers.
to hecklers and problems. Like some people are drunk and they want to fight you afterwards, or some people are drunk and they want to leave and not pay their tab, or you got to deal with security and then it disrupts the show. So it's like,
or even just if the club doesn't like it, the headliner might not like that you did that.
Yeah, the headliner.
And then you did something weird to the crowd that they can't do their thing now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's a thing to think about.
Yeah, so it's like I got good at crowd work because of having to deal with it at bar shows. Like club shows, I really don't care. I can do it, but I don't really want to focus on it constantly. But like it's a tool that I learned in bar gigs and on the road, and I can use it and pull it out whenever I need to, but I don't rely on it.
Yeah.
Just like the whole thing I was talking about earlier, like I want to play.
Here, wait, let me do. I can do video. Sorry, I have a memory card, so I can do a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, we'll just keep it going, and I'll clap. Hey, we got. Okay, sorry for the little thing.
What was it saying about the crowd work and the
the bar shows, and you had to learn it that way.
Yeah, the bar shows. I learned it in the bar shows, and I had to learn it. I forgot where I was going to go with that.
Sorry about that.
Oh man,
I was just like, we can get video. I realized I have 2 memory cards in there, so.
It was about learning crowd work, about learning in bars, the tools. That's right, the tools. In order to that's what it was. So I have it, but I don't rely on it. That's what it was. Like okay, so when I first came in, like I can do it. Like I said, I can do impressions, and I can sing, and I can play guitar, and I can do accents, and I can do all this stuff. But I don't ever really do it too much on stage because I don't want to ever rely on it. I don't want it to be. I just like to have it as an extra.
Bonus. Yeah.
Like, oh my God, he can do that too, and I think that's awesome. I like that. I like that fact that like, what can't you? What is it that you can't do? And it's like, well, I can't draw. No, but it's like, but it's something to accentuate the bigger picture, the bigger thing that I want to work on better, which is becoming a better writer and comedian and being more like we talk about, like learning our voice on stage and being present. And just so that all that other stuff dissipates, where it's like I'm not really worried about. You lose that factor when you go on stage, or right before we go on stage, and that hope factor. I hope I do well. I hope this goes well. I hope this does do. To the point where it's just like, you get to this point where like, I can't wait to eat after this because I don't like to eat before shows. It's like, well, after this, I wonder where we can eat in this town. I wonder what's better.
Yeah.
So because
you almost have like a secondary thing in your head going. While you're talking and doing the show, you're also thinking of other stuff because you're just so...
Yeah, so you're so calm, and then before you know it, you can even ask the crowd, and then you can start talking and doing stand-up on that. Like, yo, where's a good place to eat at, actually, you guys? And like, oh, oh, really? I bet you that sounds like a cheap place. You're taking your girl to the cheap... don't go there. And then all of a sudden that goes into another joke, another more stuff. But like I was saying, too, I forgot to talk about the other book, though, that we were talking about, which is Borders, about how, like, when you bomb, and because that's when the anxiety thing came in. Because we're talking about the anxiety, because, so when I did that, so when I went up, at the punchline, I finally got up and I did the joke, but then like through the whole set, I was panicking. And
was it like Sunday Showcase or what?
No, I was working with Nate Bargatze.
Oh, okay.
And I got off, and I think Gerard Carmichael was there that night too.
Oh wow.
He just dropped in, and so we're all hanging out, and then I got off stage, though, and the security guard goes, man, if I didn't know you was losing your shit outside, I'd have never known, that you just killed me. You had to go to set. And I was like, thanks, man. I go, I'm still in it right now. I'm still fucking flipping out. And he goes, oh, man, it's all right. It's going to be cool. You're going to be all right.
Yeah.
But so the thing about it was, though, too, that book, though, The Power of Now, it's like I started, it's about your mind, and it's about, the present is the only thing that is real. And what's happening is before you go up and you bomb, what you're doing is you're flipping yourself out. Because usually times when you bomb or when you're about to bomb, you're like, I hope this does well, or I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say that, and and I want them to react this way. But what if they don't react this way? Then that's not going to work, and that's going to fall apart. Then I'm going to be stuck. And then before you know it, your brain is you're feeding the present. Your brain is bombing. Oh shit, we're bombing right now. It's like, no.
Yeah, and then you bomb because you think you are.
Yeah. So what you do is you think about a set that you had that went great, and we all remember a good set. We all remember, and that's what you do. You just start painting the picture to yourself. Like, what was I wearing that day? Where did I look first? What stage was it at? Did I grab the mic? Did I put it behind me? I remember I said this, and that wasn't funny, and I remember looking at that lady, and that was funny, and then we were starting and before you know it, your body's getting happy, and your cells in your body, you're starting to move around and shake and have a good time, and you're starting to kick off those endorphins and feel yourself again, and before you know it, you're having a continuation of that night and that thought process, and then you go on and you have a good night, a good
And that's
set.
like what the book says to do?
It's kind of like, like some of the power of now and the mind tricks and stuff like that to do, and which is cool because because essentially you've already talked yourself into doing shitty. What makes you think you can't talk yourself into being great?
Yeah, that's true. It's like easy stuff that should be obvious, but it's like you need the reminder.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but we just
It's because it's simple. Simple is complicated. We complicate simple all the time. Like you ask somebody, tell me what simple is. And they will start giving you a whole definition, and they've already fucked it up because they're complicating it by giving it simple. It just is. That's all. And it's something that's so hard for people to do because they put their own spin on it and their own imprint because they want to sound intelligent or whatnot. And before you know it, you got all this complicated. Well, this is how you become simple. This is how you should be simple.
I was starting to do that. I was like, how would I describe simple? Well, it's and
it isn't. It is like that. It's kids are simple. Kids are simple. You never see kids go to a playground and have a meeting on how they're going to go have fun.
Yeah, they just have it. They just start. They're like, "Oh, a truck,
simple,
cool."
You know?
The truck is it's running out of gas. Gotta get some gas.
Yeah, and they're just having fun. They're just fucking kicking it, and that's how you have to be because this is what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be living that enlightenment and that enjoyment that children have.
Yeah,
you know? And then because that's what the whole
we forget the older we get and we get responsibilities and blah blah blah, and then it just gets complicated. Yeah, it's hard.
And it's hard, but then again, to get back to being to doing like you said, like the easiest thing, the simple thing, or it's hard to get to those moments. But it's like because hard things are worth value. If it was easy, then everybody would be doing it, and that's why.
Totally.
That's why I think about stand up. It's like why are these people think it's easy, and people come over here and they start doing it, and they just keep getting up, and then they're like, yeah, well, I do stand up, and it's like, no, you don't. You just get up on stage. This is hard. You're not good, and I want you to get good. And I'm going to tell you you're not good, and you get mad at me, and you want to say that, oh, this guy thinks he's an elitist because I'm not.
Yeah, I didn't say you couldn't do it. I just think you should be better.
Yes, I want you to be better, and I'm not trying
come back, please. Come back,
Because on top of that, if you think I'm hurting you with you're hurting your feelings, then you're going to have a whole world of hurt because later on they're not even going to tell you you're not good. They're just not going to give you any work. At least I'm giving you the feedback so you can get better. Because all I want you to do is be better because when you leave Sacramento or when you leave this area or my town or this club, and you tell them where you're from, they're gonna be like, "Oh yeah, man, I heard that Sacramento has a good ass scene."
That's what Dro Knows said that yesterday. He goes, "You guys have a really nice scene over there."
Yeah,
and I was like, "Yeah, we do." Like, yeah, thank you. Like,
yeah,
you don't hate us. I don't know why I think that SF comics hate us. Some of them probably do, but
yeah, some of them probably do because well, I mean, yeah. Anyways, but because I came into stand up at 16 and left at like 20 or something like that. But like I said, I came when I would go to San Francisco, and Sacramento was known as Hacramento back then. It was like, oh, these guys suck, and And I wasn't an avid performer, but I was like, I would come and do sets, and then I would go to the Punchline in SF and watch, Tom Rhodes and Zach was there at the time, and so was like Doug Stanhope, and this is like 90, 96, 97, something like that. Yeah, and then,
but at the time you're just like, this is what it's right now. I go and I'm like, wow, there's Mean Dave. I know him, but maybe he'll be like Doug Stanhope.
Crazy, right?
Like, yeah.
And it was like, so I go up there and the thing about it was these guys were super good. They were great. And they were super nice and hella cool, humble and hella cool. I talked to Tom Rhodes the other day. I was just fucking texting him, and it's just like, yo, man, I need a book to read because I'm stuck at the house and I need to travel with my brain because I miss going abroad. So he gave me like all these book ideas, and it's just like those guys were really cool and really informative. And then I left stand up for like 6 or 7 years, and I came back. And when I came back, Sacramento still had this like thing of like, oh, we're hacks, but it was slowly going away.
Yeah.
But then I would go and see the San Francisco cats, and it was a whole new class, but they weren't as good as the class that I seen prior. But they acted like they had the attitude that those guys deserved to have, but didn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, you guys are pieces of shit, man. You guys aren't even funny. Do you think
that's like because of people like Zach and Tom Rhodes being there, or is it because they're just like, we're the big city, so we're the the New York of the West Coast? Yeah,
they rest on their laurels. That's what happens. It's like, we come from a rich background of stand-up comedy, so therefore we have more right to tell you where you belong.
We
and where
have
you don't
Cobb's
belong.
Comedy Club.
Yeah. I don't know this. I don't think you know this, but we have a lot of very, very, very important people coming through. And, it's like, and I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Are you funny? Are you funny? Because you're telling me about how Steve Martin started here, but
just because Arj Barker dropped in doesn't make you good. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like just.
And I'm not saying anything against any SF comics.
I
that
am.
might be
Fuck
watching.
it.
No, I mean like the people I know, like
No.
everyone that I like that I know there.
No, it's gotten better
good,
though. It's gotten a little bit better, but it used to be way more toxic and shit like that. And I was just like, dude, well, you guys aren't even that funny. You guys are just in. It's all location for you guys right now, and that's great, and that's fine and dandy. But you know, I want to be funny. I want to kill. I want to kill everywhere. I was like, like my whole thing was like, if I didn't kill in a room, I'd have to go back to that room at least 4 or 5 times and kill, 4 or 5 times, and be like, okay, I've conquered this room. Let me go conquer another room, and another demographic and another scene. I was never the guy that was like, well, these are my people, and I'm just gonna stick with my people because they get me, and I'm not gonna go to this other bar or this other place because they just don't get how my jokes are heady.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck
no, and
outta here.
I will admit, I've said it a bunch of times, but I've avoided Touch a Class since I started because of one set I had, and it wasn't even at Touch a Class. It was just at a place that's like similar. So I was like, I shouldn't go there because they're not going to like me and I'm scared.
Oh,
and
no,
I still
man.
haven't gone there. And I know I should just go. Like, I'll probably have fun. It won't be a big deal, but I'm always just like, and then I have this weird thing where I'm like, if I show up, then they'll be like, oh, finally. Like, okay, you're here now. Like, why didn't you come before? Like, it's
Touch a
stupid.
Class is one of my.
It's the fear thing fucking me up.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And because it's like, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to go and make everybody laugh. Your job is to make everyone laugh. Your job is to make everyone understand your stuff, or bring them to your joy.
Yeah.
But it's so funny because I started up there at the Touch. I went to Touch again on my 10th anniversary, and it was like, it's always going to have a special place in my heart, and it's always going to be a very big part for me to develop because I grew up also in that neighborhood, in that area. But I started realizing, like, I can't do stand-up here the way I do stand-up now because I have the tools that I needed from the Touch, I got. And then after that,
you graduated, sort of.
I graduated. I couldn't go back, and I started. And the era that I was there at, and the time that I was there, I could never go back to that time. Like, that's done. Like, that's over. It's my alma mater, and I'm always going to represent it. I always have great things to say about it. But I can't go back to high school.
Touch a Class Letterman jacket.
Yeah. You can't go back to high school. You can't be Matthew McConaughey. It's just not a good look. But if they ever need help, like say if something blows up for me or something goes and they want me to go back there, I'll fucking go back there because I know I'll have all their attention.
What if you record your first special there?
No, I want to record my first special. I wanted to do it in a theater.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
Yeah, but I wanted to. That's why we made the stage here because I was going to do it here, and then but I still want to do it in the theater.
Yeah, like the Crest or what?
In somewhere, some were big where it's like at least like 5,000 seats or so. Man, I think I would push the shit out of it and try to sell it out because I want that. Cool. I want that old school feel. Like I like that whole
like the Eddie Murphy, Chris Rock,
I want it to
Robin
be
Williams special. Like, I don't have anything against that. I think for me, whenever I can have an hour and feel like I would even want to do it, I want it to be in a club because I like the intimate, smaller, I like that. I watched Todd Glass one time talk about, and I've heard a lot of people say what's a good environment for comedy, and I love that like a low ceiling and like packed in, dark, like you can see them a little bit, but the lights are bright and you don't know it's there, and they can't see each other, and the laughs are just trapped and bounce all around. So I want to go to the Cellar someday, And, I just all these and so if my first special, I would want it to be here or at the Punchline or something like that, where it's
Yeah, I want my shit. I would love my shit because that's just where I don't know the era that I was raised in for
totally.
Yeah, the whole I want it to be the point where it's polished. To the point where because usually my shit's not polished, it's all super raw, so it's I'm all over the place. If it's an intimate setting for me, then I'm not going to do any of my set that I planned because that's just
because you can see you can see the people, so you're you want I want to talk to that guy now.
Yeah,
but in a theater you're not going to do that because there's a whole 2 spaces.
It translates better through for the form of television if I do it in a theater than it translates in an intimate setting because like I said, for me, I'm super present. You know, I will have a set list, or I'll have a thing that I want to do on stage. There's been many times I go up on stage and I have 3 new jokes I want to work out, and I go on stage and I don't do any of them because I was just fucking around and having a good old time. And I did more new shit, but I just wanted to work these 3 things out.
Yeah, and you go home and you're like, fuck, I still don't know.
Yeah, and I didn't even record that set, so I don't even remember anything that I did say.
Yeah,
you know. And then
totally.
so like with the like a theater thing, I'd like to also too, because I can let it. I know how to pace myself and let things breathe. And because the theater, I've done theater gigs, and they're the greatest because it's like, you know, you drop it on them and you just wait. And
I realized as I was saying what I was saying too, I'm like, I've never done a theater, so like maybe I would want my special to be a theater. Like I've done a packed club a couple times on like a bringer show, so like you know, and like other random things, like I've done the Sunday showcase a couple times, so like, but yeah, it's like I haven't done a 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 seat theater, so I don't know what that feels like. Maybe I would love that.
It's so crazy, man. It's just like this. I remember the first time I did it, I think I talked about it before, but like the first time I did like a decent sized theater, I didn't expect, I never had that many people laugh at the same time. And it's like, yeah. You seen Monsters Inc., right?
Yeah. Sorry, I was just trying to see.
Okay.
Oh, it is.
Dead?
No, it's fine.
Oh.
I just thought I wasn't moving. I thought we were frozen. But I've seen Monsters Inc., yeah. We should wrap it up soon.
Okay, Monsters Inc. when Boo laughs. And everything, because the screams used to be the energy.
But but the laughs are better, and it blows up. Yeah,
that's exactly how it feels when all those people laugh at the same time. You're like, what the fuck? And I remember like it was a roar, and it was my first joke, and it hit, and it was a roar, and my clothes rippled. You know, like I felt it. I felt the vibration.
Really?
Yeah. And
did you imagine it though, or is it really?
It was real, and I got scared as fuck. And I threw off my whole timing, and I ate shit for the rest of my set.
Oh, man.
So bad. It was so bad. And I remember coming off stage, and Mikey Winfield was like, damn. He goes, you learned something? I go, yeah. And that's when I learned the pacing.
You learned something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
And he goes, so I was like, I learned the pacing of a theater show, and then when the next time when I would do theater shows, I was like, oh, this is I get this now. Now I get it, and it's more of a dance with the audience, you know. Like I'm leading, but I'm also waiting for you to follow as well, as opposed to grabbing you and taking you.
So it's just there's sort of like a timing of like it takes a second for the reaction to come.
Yeah, it's like, and then when you get it, you know, let it just. You know, decrescendo out, you know, because it's like you step on laughs. When you first do stand-up, you step on people's laughs because you're just wanting to get all your shit out there because you want to. I have time.
You're nervous and stuff. Yeah.
But when you do a theater gig, it's like you say the joke and you wait for it, and then all of a sudden it comes in. And then and then don't step on it. Matter of fact, you don't even have to say another joke for a minute. You could just make faces and make gestures and keep the laugh going, and then it starts dissipating.
And then like a 90s saxophone, and it cuts to like a Folgers commercial, and I don't know.
It's the best, man. It's the best. It's such a
comic view.
It reminds me of like I just always think of gold when when I do a theater gig, like I always think of like brass and like horns and trumpets and shit like that for some reason.
Interesting.
I don't know why. That's the feeling, and that's the mood, and that's the color I see constantly whenever I do a theater. It doesn't even matter what the background or the backdrop is of the show.
Yeah.
For some reason,
You just think of orchestra.
Yeah, it's funny. There's a lot of things that I have when I walk around in my thought process. I will feel a color. Like I feel.
I've done that, yeah.
Yeah.
When I was a kid and I saw, it might have even been because they had colors, but the letters were all over the wall, like in first grade or kindergarten.
Mm-hmm.
It was like A, B, C, D, and they were like, they had like A is apple, and it's like an A holding an apple with eyes or something.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it was because of those or if I made it up, but every letter has like colors to me.
Yeah.
So like my default A is sort of like a white. Sometimes it's red, but it's white.
Mm-hmm.
And then like B is blue, obviously.
Yeah.
C is green.
Yeah. That's what
And then D is like blue again. But even then, like some of them don't like they have a color until I look at it in my head and I'm like, where'd the color go? Like it's different now.
Yeah.
It's like I can't.
It's weird, man. Like, cause I'll feel like a color. It's so weird. And then sometimes it's like like even a derivative of a color sometimes too. I'm like, dude, for some reason, I don't know. I just like this place gives me this like brownish red feeling right now. Like,
and then you cannot like somewhere because it does that to you.
Yeah. It's like even like a fragrance could bring you to a memory. It's almost like that too. It's like it's I don't know. I'm glad I'm not the only one and I'm not nuts. I think this is the first time I've ever talked about this out loud.
I've talked about it, but I don't know if I've had other people say that, because I also like I like to look at Zillow and just look at houses and stuff for fun. And sometimes I look at a space, and sometimes it's the photography, like they did it on their cell phone and it's real shitty and the white balance is off and stuff. But other times they can take nice pictures, but I just look at the space and like I just don't. I'm like, yeah, it's beautiful, it's wonderful, but I don't like it. It just, if I was sitting there, I'd be upset. Like it's not like how I would want the space to be like organized. Like there was a house that was like it's like in the campus commons area, like you know where that is. It's like where Sac State is, kind of like, and it had this really great ceiling. It was like it was like a long thin room, and the ceiling was like arched, and it looked cool. And I was just like, I hate it. It was just something about it. It's like it's like intangible. I can't.
I
try to break it down, and I can't. I just don't like it.
I wrote a Facebook post the other day, which is funny because we're talking about how, like, you know, the how I write or what the thought process that I have, and the thought process was, I go, you break your neck. I go, maturity. I go, you breaking your neck looking at a nice property sign like you used to when you were a hot chick. And then I wanted to add more to it and say,
my girlfriend texted me. Sorry.
Oh shit! I wanted to add more to it by saying I think that's just because hot chicks sell them now. Because it's always just I feel like real estate agents.
There's a whole series of porns though that are like property
management.
Yeah, it's like something. It's like the dude is looking at a house, and then the girl is like, "Well, I mean, it's my first house. And, like, it would mean a lot if you bought it." And he's like, "Well, I don't know." And she's like, "Well, what if I?" And then suddenly there's sex. It's such a stupid.
It's so funny because it's like I'm thinking. I said one time I go. Real estate agents are just Instagram models that do algebra.
I like that. So, okay, one last thing, and then we'll do plugs. We said we were going to review Tenet. So let's not get too crazy into it, but just say, like, overall what you like, and then I'll do that, and then we'll do plugs.
So what I liked about Tenet, I just I don't know
what you didn't like. Just your like a paragraph kind of.
I just think that I missed the movie so much that I was just like so starved for something, so I didn't mind it. I was like, oh yeah, but like it was such a beautifully shot film that I didn't care that I didn't understand it. I was just watching and watching and watching, and then he was trying to explain it and break it down to me, which I would get sometimes, and then I didn't get, and then I finally got it, and then I found out what the name is. Did you read the article about how the name is developed?
I need to find that and read it. I didn't read anything about it yet. I just kind of knew like it's because it's like it's not an anagram, but it's like whatever, you can read it both ways. It's like
a palindrome.
It's like palindrome, like a Toyota, or race car. It's like that. So there's
Hannah.
Is that's your?
Huh?
That's your.
What happens is So I mean, spoiler. So turns off.
We said that at the beginning.
Okay.
3 hours ago.
So the army forces that were moving forward to time, because the time travel thing is crazy to me.
That part is sort of where I got lost. Like that whole, and I think part of that's what I was saying before about Nolan is I don't like the way he films things, because he starts to just edit it weird. And
you started losing me on the World War II movie or World War I movie, was it?
Dunkirk.
Yeah,
you got lost on that one.
Yeah, because the way he was filming, the editing that he was doing.
Yeah,
he was.
And I get he was doing something cool, but also it's like, can you not try? Could I just watch like a good movie? Like I don't know.
Can you just tell me the story as opposed to me figuring out the story?
That one of these pieces is an hour long, and one of them's 5 hours, and one of them's a day. Like you don't have to do that to me.
One's air, one's land, and one's sea. Like, all right, okay, I get it. Traffic, calm down. Like,
But you were saying there's the two forces, and one of them's going forwards, and one of them's going backwards.
In time, yeah. And that was the interesting thing about their time travel. Their time travel was, if you want to go back a week, you have to go into the backwards and live for a week in backwards land in order to get to that point in time. But But yeah, so one force is they have 10 minutes to complete their mission. Both of them each have 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And so that's
why.
why.
And the one team is going off of what the other team experienced, and that's how they're able to achieve what they achieve, is because they know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But it's only because the other team did what they did, but they're still happening at the same time.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
It's such a mind fuck.
But the way they shoot it too is like, there's just so much going on, and this is, again, like, what I don't like is he does this thing where like his action scenes start to get cut in weird places, and he shows something, but then he shows this, and there's just like a lot of bullshit going on.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, it just gets too busy, and like other directors, yeah, but like when I watch The Avengers, that action scene is perfect. It's like, it's just beautiful. It's like, I know this guy's over here, she's over there,
yeah.
then this sequence happens, and then there's that beautiful part where like Hawkeye like jumps off the roof, shoots the arrow, and then, or something, and then like you just start to see like it follows this hero, which leads to that hero, which leads to the two of them, and then this one goes off, and then you follow that guy, and then it goes to Black Widow. Yeah.
Pretty much the atomic football, because they're
Is that what it?
Well, they have the glove. I mean, it's the.
Oh no! I'm talking about the original. Avengers,
the original.
In New York.
Okay.
And there's like a shot where it's like a continuous shot, and it starts with like Hawkeye. He shoots some arrows, something, and then it's like Black Widow, and then you go on the back of the thing. Yeah, and you see on the back of the thing, it's like Hulk and Thor. Like, that's where it ends, and then they end in, like, Grand Central Station, and Hulk punches him.
Yeah.
But right before, it's like this beautiful, like, you just... And I understand the geography.
Mm-hmm.
I know what's happening and where it's happening and why. But when I see that scene in Tenet, I'm just like...
There's no reference points.
Yeah, and it's, like, all gray, and he has, like, this bad color palette, and he likes... He wants to shoot everything in camera.
Yeah.
So I think he found, like, an empty construction site, which is, like, cool. Now he can blow shit up.
Yeah.
But also, that
bleak.
means... Yeah, it's bleak, and it's not a real place, and there's no stakes to me as far as, like, there's no people to worry about. There's no...
Yeah.
Which, I don't want to get into it, but that's the problem I have with the new Star Wars movies, is they're set in the middle of nowhere. But, yeah, so that's what I didn't like.
The thing about, too, that you're talking about, like, I felt it was too long, too. Like, they could have cut this. Like, and the one thing that I didn't like, it was the beginning sequence. There was no need for it.
Yeah.
There was no need for any of that.
It was just sort of like, oh, look, something weird's happening a little bit.
Yeah.
But I still don't even know what was going on. That, like, who were those people?
And why was he there? Why was
It probably, maybe we need to watch it like 3 more times. But
all I know is that they could have started the movie when he was in the train station, or at the train when they were interrogating him at the train.
Yeah.
They could have started it right there.
Yeah.
Everything else before that really kind of doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because all they're just...
it's just an action scene to get you going.
Yeah, just to show us, hey, we're gonna this thing is cool. Yeah, this special
the bullets
effect.
go backwards sometimes. Yeah.
And it's like, so it's like you could have just started me off at this. Why is this guy this spy? Is he a spy? I don't know what he is. I'm confused.
Well, and that goes back to the other thing I said is they never set up, like, does he work for the NSA? Is it the CIA? Like, where's his handler? Where, like, he's just sort of doing shit, but there's never any reference point of, like, this is his office. This is who he works for. Like, there's an old guy for a minute.
Think about it. You're right. I didn't like it. Fuck that movie.
Fuck 4
Nolan.
bathroom breaks.
Christopher Nolan. If I ever see you again eating, I'm gonna take off your plate and then I'm gonna punch you in the face.
I'm gonna rip the hairs off your beard.
Oh man. All right. Well, we're good. Huh? That's good. Yeah.
Cool. Do you want to plug your anything? Instagram, podcast, Facebook?
All my shit is Carlos Comedy, except for like TikTok and stuff. That some little kid got it.
So you're like Carlos 587B4.
I'm like I think it's the real Carlos Comedy. Or Carlos Comedy.
Okay.
And then a podcast. Mine is My Life and Rambles, which I mean you can tell it's pretty much just this. And then trying to think what else. That's about it. The dates are coming in. I got my October's booked, so hopefully November gets better too as well.
I'll try to put this out next week.
Cool. You might have to break it up in a couple parts. Shit, we're almost at 3 hours, huh?
Well, part of me is like, I've always wanted to have a 3-hour episode, but it's gonna be. I mean, it is what it is. Like, there's enough video and the audio's all here, so we just had to break it up once. But it's recording. You know, the battery's still good too because I have these lithium batteries that are better.
We did a Joe Rogan podcast.
Yeah, I've been wanting to do one, but usually it's like we get tired or, you know, the dogs are getting crazy at my house or my roommates. I don't know, like something comes up. Yeah, you can follow me at Epic Tiki Comedy, at Epic Tiki Comedy on Twitter, at Epic Tiki on Instagram. Subscribe, like it, comment it. You know what it is. Thanks for watching, guys. we'll be back with another people later.
Right on.